that never ends up going very particularly well.
Either your stomach and body starts hurting, or you start trying to speed up and babbling because you're trying to because you want to piss really bad. It's weird because even though this is like 22 years old, it's like something Zach posted yesterday.
It's really, really interesting how old this mentality is.
Yeah. I mean, because you got to realize April 1994, and that's just kind of a. It threw me off. Like, you could have told me this was published by said organization we were talking about earlier, and I'd believe it.
Yeah. Okay.
In fact, if I wouldn't have noticed the date, I probably would have thought it was.
Yeah, this sounds like something that would have been published like 2 months ago.
Yeah, exactly. This is something that the Mary Sue created.
Yeah, exactly. What's hilarious is, I'm with the Haman Khan fan club, but I got this Haman Khan garage kit that I've had for over a year. Haven't finished it.
Still not as bad as I really need to finish that show, kind of thing you come up with sometimes.
Well, yeah. Every time someone brings up, I need to finish that show.
I started it a couple years ago, but
whenever someone, hey Anubis, what's your backlog? I have to call up my squire. He brings a scroll with him.
Yeah, it's just like backlog. I don't even call it that anymore. I just call it the archives.
The scrolls. We must reference the scrolls to see what anime needs to catch up on.
Well, you are.
You have to say it like that every time to the scrolls.
You are the Egyptian god of the underworld.
Yeah. It's written on papyrus. It's all in hieroglyphics.
Yeah, exactly. It's papyrus. It's hieroglyphics.
What anime we must catch up on?
Exactly.
The Egyptologists are deciphering it.
It says here I must watch Cinderella Girls and Love Life.
They go into this pyramid, into the tomb, and it's like the pharaoh buried with all his anime figures and stuff, and all along the walls are these hieroglyphics, and it's his backlog.
No. Better than that.
Never finishing.
Yeah, better than that. It would be funny, like really bad otaku slogans. Let's see here. My hips are moving on their own. Just shit like that. It can't be helped.
Satan got my cock.
Yeah.
Wasn't that just a dub?
The Dojin.
No, that was in a Dojin.
Weirdly enough, I actually have seen that in a dub. I guess somebody
I was thinking wait, before
and gotten clever.
All right, before we start, they solicited a new hentai. You know when they changed the title?
I hate when they do that.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about.
It's called Grab 'em by the Pussy.
Are you fucking kidding me?
This is not a joke.
Okay, we need to announce this on the actual part of it that's not going to be cut out.
It says Grab 'em by the Pussy.
Okay. We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Let me find an image to post up with this link here.
Like, wow.
I can't fucking believe they did that. Like, usually I'm not surprised. This time I'm very surprised.
Go to Right Stuff, see new stuff.
I'll do that when we're not doing this.
All right. No, well, I was telling.
God damn it. I hate when I type in something. like that and I fuck up. Why isn't this appearing? There it goes.
All right. Link
So
is
hey,
up.
did either of you get hit with the fucking internet downage?
No, but I heard about it.
My girlfriend did.
Ooh.
Like Twitter wouldn't load and stuff. She was like, "What the hell's going on?" I was like trying to explain to her what a DDoS, what had happened basically. And well, who did it? And I'm like, well, they technically don't know. I mean, some people are claiming it's from outside the country. If you were to ask me, I think it's from inside.
Yeah.
Because if it was from outside, I have a feeling they'd be on a much higher alert.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Mm.
All right. I am already on my end.
Just about over here. Hang on. Waka waka. Holy shit. Okay. All right. Let's roll.
All right. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to NTR Radio. I'm Tom Forster Anubis.
I'm K-Gods.
And I'm VZ Mark II.
And this episode is brought to you by the Funk Soul Brothers. Somebody just turned it off like, nope.
Yeah. Yeah. Hate Funk Soul Brothers.
I have absolutely no idea what that is, so
Consider yourself lucky.
I'm assuming it's funk and it's soul.
No, it's
two of them and they're siblings. They're both male.
It's a terrible song by Fatboy Slim, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, well, yeah, okay, that doesn't sound like
right
something
about
I know.
now.
So I'm not a music.
Okay, I'm done.
I'm turning the radio off.
Okay.
Okay, so new season. Yes.
Well, hang on. I remembered this time. Let's get everyone in the IRC. What you're going to do is you're going to point your browser at she'slost-control.net/podcast. In the upper right-hand corner, you got that chat link. Hit that. It'll take you to a room with a chat window in it. Give yourself a nickname, hit the button, join us in the IRC. Alternatively, point your favorite IRC client at irc.ryzen.net. We are in the pound or corned beef hash SLC media channel.
Snap it to him. Yeah.
In addition, you can get at us on Twitter at TEAnubis, at VZMK2, at KGods00. And as always, you can get at us at the email box, ntrradio@gmail.com.
I think you mean Lazy Erica 00. You actually
Lazy
said
Erica.
K-Gods 00.
Lazy KGods00?
No, you just said K-Gods 00, I think.
Okay, I got you. Lazy Erica 00 is KGods Twitter. So that's to confuse people.
K-Gods is going to change his name to his handle.
Now I'm going to change it.
Yeah,
to the new girl. To the new girl. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, so let's talk about that new season.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're all watching it.
Crazy amount of shows. I think this is the one that I probably sampled the most from. Oh, that was the beep in the background I was talking about.
Okay, that's fine.
Somebody's backing up.
Yeah, there's nothing I could do about that tomorrow. Okay, so anyway, so many, I think, I can't think of another season I sampled more from. But then
Well, you are kind of our basic wine tester.
Yeah, I'm basically your sort of your guinea pig litmus test guy.
Yeah, he's the food taster. You know, when the king
make sure nobody gets poisoned.
Yeah, when the king's paranoid about being poisoned, he has his food taster taste all the food to make sure it's not poisoned. So if VZ dies watching anything, we know not to watch it.
Okay, so
or we know to watch it depending on how he dies.
I think we'll talk about the one we're all watching. The obvious one, Brave Witches.
Yeah, yes. Boy.
Silverlink, they did it.
They did it again.
I'm enjoying it.
This is the third switch to a different.
Yes, it is. Because the movie, which is, I promise I will buy that.
Oh yeah, it's on my to buy list.
I'm buying it. I'm buying it, and there are. Let's just say, as far as the Funimation thing goes, I don't even know how to say this. There have been developments that I believe have happened that may sway my decision toward Funimation's cool again.
Okay.
That's all.
I know what you're talking about, but I won't dive into that. Okay, so Brave Witches. The way I've seen this, and I think you're gonna have to agree with me on this, is it's basically a soft reboot of.
I would disagree.
To an extent, yeah.
Well, I see it as in the sense that think of it of like what, I hate to use the comparison, but like The Force Awakens or Jurassic World, where it's in a way telling the same original story. It's like doing the same beat by beat of the original thing, but it's not ignoring the original. If you know what I mean.
I'm gonna have to disagree with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we have the same type of main girl who's very much like Yoshika.
I disagree on that level. Yoshika, think of it this way: Yoshika was characterized by she's really enthusiastic, but her main thing was she is very powerful magically.
Oh well, it's not. I didn't mean an exact beat for beat, but this one's like much weaker as a. Well, they weren't going to do it exactly like that. Or, for example, you got the girl, this one who looks very much like Lucchini, but is from Fuso, but she acts kind of like the way she's basically like what Perrine was in the original. What how Perrine didn't like Yoshika.
So a bitch.
Yeah.
Kind of, but at the same time, it's like she has that sort of character type, but at the most basic level. If you take it to any level further than this character is initially hostile toward the main character, and we're gonna assume warms up to her as far toward.
You're referring to Kano, right?
Show. Yeah, I'm referring to Kano.
Yeah, I have not learned any of the names yet.
To be fair, I understand because some of these names do not hit you immediately.
Yeah, and to a certain extent, we're working with another fighter wing. Like we've been with the 501st for 2 seasons, a movie, and an OVA series. Technically, one OVA and another OVA series, if you're counting the very first strike, which is OVA.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
But it's like, only if you look at it at the very basic level are these characters similar to the 501st. Because Perrine's whole thing, to be perfect, I don't even remember what Perrine's whole thing was. Like Perrine's whole thing is, why is Yoshika already so close to Major Sakamoto already? I'm looking to hit that instead.
Yeah, but she was also like very prissy and from a high, like a
which is not at all similar to what Kano is about. Because like Kano's whole thing was the soldier I've been fighting alongside this whole way is supposed to be in your place. You're like, why are you here? You're weak as hell. You're not going to help anyone. That's Kano's whole thing. So it's very, very superficially similar to the original, but if you look at it in any way past the very surface level, they're doing a whole lot different with it.
Yeah, I have to say I'm really loving. I love that end theme, by the way. Where it was like, or just go the part, especially this part of the song. It's like,
please do not try. I was gonna say, please do not try to emulate a Japanese girl's voice.
Yeah, it was like na 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 like that.
Okay, so let's talk characters a little bit here.
I'm already feeling that the kind Waltrud, the kind of dark skinned girl from Carlsland.
Yeah, the one who's the most obvious lesbo.
Yes.
The one that's basically making remarks like, "Oh, I'm gonna get me some of that."
Yeah,
Is that the commander one?
No.
No. Oh no, not that one.
She's the one with dark skin.
Oh yeah. But my brain was combining the two for some reason.
Although since they're from Karlsland, we should probably pronounce them Waltrud.
Waltrud Krupinski.
Yeah, the last name sounds more Polish, doesn't it?
Kind of, yeah.
Now you also have the she's not really a counterpart in my opinion. The commander who's Gundula, Ral.
Gundula Ral.
Yeah, who is physically looks kind of like Shirley because she's big chested and has kind of a auburn like hair thing going on. Personality wise is not similar at all so far.
Yeah.
No.
That being said, I wanted to see her fly just to see the wind resistance. Because there's no way there can't be any. She is very well endowed.
I love that part in the first episode, by the way, when Takami was showing her chest to the main girl.
Oh, where she's got like the under boob scar.
Yeah, I was like, that is so hot.
Right. My favorite character is actually probably the Finnish girl. Her nickname is Nipa.
Ah.
But her full name is Nika Edvardine Kata. Actually, this depends on if you want to say it like a Japanese person or not. The last name is actually. The thing is with J's in most European languages is they're pronounced like a Y.
Yeah.
I feel like, but even though she hasn't been prominent so far, I still say like Georgette Lemaire is the one I would probably.
She's the one who reminds me more personality-wise of Lucchini because she kind of has the somewhat ginky sort of mentality.
She seems a bit.
I'm looking forward to seeing more of Georgette.
She personality. Lucchini and a bit of Lynette.
I could see that.
Because she's a bit of a shy.
That being said, the said Finnish girl I mentioned earlier, I think she has the biggest rack. I can't quite tell between her.
I have the pics here. Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Between her and Gundula, it's one of them for sure.
I'm also liking again not that prominent so far, but Sadako.
The other Fuso witch. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more of her because I don't know if there's something about her.
Kano is the one I'm least, cause I'm like, shut up.
Same here.
Yeah, I found her actually pretty annoying.
Yeah,
but
Perrine was at a level where it's still sort of cute. Kano is like, holy crap.
Actively annoying.
Yeah, like calm down, chill out, girl.
It's like seriously, you really need to get some Xanax. But beyond all that, since you mentioned Sadako, it wasn't she. She actually said a lot of funny things when they were like in the mess hall eating, if I recall. A lot of them actually did. We're kind of talking and interacting there. That's really the first time you really got to see that. I mean, because other than that, you just saw them kind of destroy shit, which is fun. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Always good to see.
Pretty good. I do think the color palette for this series is somewhat more muted. Maybe that's just me.
I didn't. I don't know if I didn't notice it or if that's just some kind of disconnect between how you're seeing it and how I'm seeing it. But either it's that or it's just to a level where I didn't notice it and didn't really care at that point.
I also got to air my grievances, and you know what I'm going to say, but I have to say it. They rely way too much on the cell shaded CG for the flying. I know, but for certain shots I can understand, but they kind of fall back too much on that.
Well, I'm actually gonna be with you on that. There are points in where they're using cell shaded, where in previous Strike Witches series they would have just done that out traditionally.
Yeah. I can understand it for some shots, especially like far away shots. There is
if they're flying and there's a whole lot of aerobatics going on, I completely understand it. But they're using it for some things where it's like it's bringing it kind of more closer to the character, and it is a palpable decrease in quality.
There was a shot. I had to like rewind this and do like and stop, you know, like you know, when you like pause play
frame by frame.
Yeah, frame by frame. That's the word. Sorry. It was CG. It kept coming in. CG. Oh, normal drawn. You can actually see. You can actually pinpoint the CG to the normal drawing.
Well, perhaps Silverlink didn't really have as much at their disposal.
Oh, actually, there's because I heard I was thinking of I'm not thinking of Silverlink. Oh no, actually, this show, they're delaying episode 4 by a week. I heard.
Okay, but you're the only person I've heard say that, though.
Okay, I haven't been. We'll probably know for sure by next week, but I heard that because I imagine the show's like draining a lot of resources.
That's why I think that it probably had that to begin with. Because I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of Silverlink, but you know,
I know that from the shows that I've seen. They don't really do action shows.
So this is probably a little bit of a jolt to the system for them a bit.
I think so. I think that this is it feels like
you just got home.
A little bit more than they can chew, a little bit more than they can handle at their because Strike Witches is a show that you know, it's one of the things that, besides the obvious fan service and the characters, is also just really good fight choreography, really good fighting.
That being said, I'm gonna just kind of quiz you guys on this one to an extent, but is it just me or does this one have toned down that a little bit? Not the fighting, the actual
fan service. Yes.
The crotch shots and stuff they're still there.
They're still there, but
they're more subdued.
Like in like the movie and the first and second series, it was in your face, literally.
Yeah. I mean, like they haven't been like grinding their twats on like broomsticks or anything.
You also, I can tell you right now, you're definitely not going to see like, even though it's TV airing and it would be on the Blu-ray anyway, but I don't think you're going to see like nipples or anything in this at all. I can tell you that.
That hurts me so badly. I can't find that stuff online.
I
mean, to an extent. I mean, that's just objectively harming us because now we can't figure out whose is bigger.
No, you'll still see some topless scenes like in the first episode, but you probably won't see directly drawn. And here's why. I can tell you exactly why. Because Strike Witches as a franchise is more well known. It's more popular. Back then, when they were animating the first 2 seasons, it was less known. So especially that first season that was done by Gonzo. So basically they could do, it was like whatever at that point. If this is the only one that comes out, then, you know.
Good quality family entertainment.
VZ, Zeekfreak's going to argue with you. Zeekfreak in the Twitter. Are you fucking kidding me? Silverlink does incredible action. Have you not seen Prisma Ilia?
Okay, that's the I have not seen that. I know of Prism Ilia.
He got you.
Okay. But I mean, but see, when I think of Silverlink, I think of like Nanan Biori and Girlfriend Beta. Which, I'll get to a
certain extent, that's the same thing of those people who think of when they hear Gynax, they think of Ava and Fully Cooley and ignore the stuff like
He Is My Master.
Ignore stuff like He Is My Master and Mahoromatic.
Well.
So to a certain extent, he got you.
Okay.
Intellectually, they have to ignore the Gatorade.
Okay,
show.
I think we better move along because speaking of saving the link, yesterday I saw streaming. It's on YouTube, but and it was no translation. I don't give a fuck. The first of the three girlfriend note.
So is this like a no ma'am thing?
Girlfriend note.
Oh, note. I thought you said no.
Girlfriend note. Which you know what? I'll take it. I'm happy with it. Yeah, it's more girlfriend beta.
Yeah,
I'll take it. All
right.
Character sites are slightly different, though. Slightly.
Do we want to kind of do like a round robin thing?
Well, it depends on like which shows we've all watched. Because I know I watched Keijo.
At least one other. Yes.
Me too. My 2 cents is I can't get into it. I'm not really into that art style, but I appreciate its existence.
I love it. It is completely shameless about what it is.
Yeah. Like I said, I appreciate its existence, especially that I know who it pisses off certain those people and been writing
those things, by the way.
Writing those articles.
Well, it's weird to me because I keep reading the things about it takes itself too seriously, and then you start looking at this entire thing and what the fuck are they talking about?
Vacuum butt cannon.
Yeah, butt Gatling.
The what, sir? The vacuum butt cannon.
Butt cannon.
I thought I heard you.
That's not just an attack. That's an episode title, if I'm not mistaken.
I will say, I do like the training.
The butt guillotine.
No, I was just thinking the weights in between the butt.
Oh yeah, in that fucking suit.
I just want to know if that's possible. I want to see someone do that. Just take a weight in between your butt cheeks.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, and which I don't think anybody who watches this show isn't also probably watching this, at least out of curiosity. Let's see here. It's first off, it is completely shameless. It does not even pretend to not be what it is. I think that's important.
Yeah, it's just well, here's the thing.
It has 8 exclamation marks in the name.
Yeah.
Drawing Girl says in the chat, I love Non Biori. Great series. She mentions Euphonium and Keijo the most. I like Euphonium and Keijo the most this season. Move it on that thought. Yeah, I'm watching the new Sound Euphonium. I'm probably the only one watching that.
Yeah, I think you are so far.
I'm watching that. There's still more Yuri baiting, which
naturally
people have been complaining about. I don't give a fuck.
So Anubis, since we both watched Keijo, which character are you into, or characters? I like Miata.
Well, number one is tough for me because I haven't learned all the names yet.
Okay.
But man, it's
general description.
I like the white-haired girl, like the other main girl.
Miata.
Yeah.
The one with the flat chest but the huge butt.
Yeah.
She's my favorite character too. I don't know why. Her personality is very amusing.
I know exactly why.
Well, you're an ass man, so. Yeah. Well, not that I'm not, but you're a bigger one though. Put it this way. You suggested we measure C2's ass measurements with AutoCAD. But I don't know what
allocation of valuable resources.
I don't know what's worse about that. The fact that you came up with that idea or the fact that I was genuinely interested.
Listen, all right? We need accurate measurements. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Moving on. The new.
We get bogged down in ass talk.
The new working. www.working.
No relation to the 43rd president.
Like, do they start a website? That's my only question.
No, it's called that.
Aw, come on.
Because it's a web manga. It was based on a web manga.
Oh, okay.
That makes
makes it
marginally more sense.
Yeah.
I am
It's
enjoying it.
disappointing, but it makes more sense.
It's also another and since you haven't seen it, you can't argue the fact. It also is kind of a soft reboot of the original working. In this one, what's interesting is that it actually takes it's not like after the original series. It takes place exactly during the first series because you see. Oh yeah, I think I mentioned this in the last one, that you see the main character of the previous show walk by when you see the new main character.
See, well, here's what you have to do now. You have to go back to the first show in that scene and see if you see that other character.
Maybe.
I'm telling you.
Now,
It's
anime
probably not
actually.
going to happen that way, but
No.
if they did, holy shit. Do you understand how mind-blowing that would be? Because when did Working come out?
2010.
Yeah, so they've had this in planning.
It was
for
the same
6
season
years.
I met. It was the same season I met K-Gods too.
Yeah,
I remember
so it'd be
But-
like they've had this in
You know what that reminds me of?
for 6 years, and
That
we're gonna come out with this show in 6 years, and we're gonna have this dude in the background.
That's some
and
like
he's gonna be the main
level
character.
shit. That's some
No.
That's
No.
some endless 8 shit right there.
No. You know what that actually is reminding me of? Back to the Future.
Yeah,
You know
there you
how
go.
like all these little things that they reference later like that. Shows a lot of like planning, I guess, more than anything else. But yeah, somewhere in a diner.
Yeah. The 2 shorts actually 3 shorts. First 2 are sequels. The first one is Anitori X, or this one's called Anitori XX. That's the exercise. It's about exercising, but it's really about exercising another part of your.
It's about exercising.
Yeah. Buns of Steel.
But they're most of them are kind of in the like middle school age. So
Buns
Yeah,
of Steel,
you gotta start toning-
junior high edition.
You got to start toning early on.
and when they do the exercise, they make their little moaning noises.
Naturally,
And
that's what people do when they exercise, right?
Yeah, they pant heavily and
It's like 3, 4.
Which there's a fine line with that between sounding like you're sexually excited and taking a dump.
And I love the fact that the characters talk to the viewer, you.
Well, yeah, because I imagine this is like
Training with Hinaya.
Yeah, it's sort of like that.
Yes.
Yeah, jerk it.
It's
1,
like the-
2, 3.
It's like the workout tape of anime.
Yeah, it's like shake weight.
Another short I'm watching is I don't even pronounce the Japanese name. I just say the translation. I don't want to be a magical girl anymore.
It sounds like that show that we said need to be made, where it's like Christmas cake magical girls.
Yeah, well, this is actually really funny because it's kind of aware of its tropes with magical girls, and it's also like I love the fact that how magical girl shows have like a thing that always hangs around them, like Cube.
Yeah, the little mascot character.
Yeah, well, this one's just always getting abused the fuck out of.
Oh wow! Is it like oh shit? Is it like Garfield abusing Odie kind of shit?
Well, I think what was it? The one girl was like pouring hot water on it.
What the fuck?
I think he's doing that in one episode.
Somewhere the PETA branch of Japan is not happy with this.
Okay, but there was a surprise of this. I didn't even know that this was. I didn't even pay attention on the chart, but then I saw a 4chan talk about it. I was like, all right, let me check this out. It's called Getsu Yoba no Tawawa, or I think Tawawa was on Monday or something. Monday with Tawawa or something like that. Anyway, it's basically like the salary man that goes to work, and it's basically, but it's always like his large-breasted coworker or the large-breasted girl on the train. So it's like in the second episode, she's like typing, but then she's like, "What is it? Why does it keep scrolling?"
Okay.
I saw
I've
like
seen
web
this
images of
animated
that.
GIF before.
Yeah, I've seen visuals of that.
I was wondering what that was from.
It was
I
making me
recommend
chuckle. I mean,
I recommend that. It's the surprise of the season. Speaking of other booby fan service things, the big one I have to mention,
The big one in more ways than one.
Occultic 9, the show that, despite me watching, I have no idea what the fuck is going on at all.
Yeah, see, I feel like you and I are watching the show for entirely different reasons.
Okay, I have no idea what I don't know anything of what's going on. There's some mystery shit and yada yada. Oh, but look, the girl that voiced Cocoa from Gochios is voicing the girl with the really huge tits, the size of her head, bouncing up and down.
I mean, to be fair, it's a show with a semicolon in the middle of it,
I
so
was
it's
just
gonna
going
be
to say
kind of
that.
confusing for a while until it actually picks up and starts making some
Chaos
sense.
Head,
Chaos
Can I
Head. I never finished Chaos Head as my
Steins Gate.
Robotics Notes.
It's part of the same universes. Those it's the same one and all that. Colon verse.
It's supposed to be called the Science Adventure series, which is they really should just call it the semicolon verse, because
the
Science Adventure series means nothing to me.
Improper English grammar.
Semicolon verse.
I'm actually interested in figuring out what the story is. VZ is interested in the titties. I'm interested in figuring out what the stories is.
I just
it
wish
seems kind of like what's going on there.
Can I just have a half an hour of just Ryoko just bouncing up and down and going?
Sure you can. You can just play and web him over and over again.
You can be like me and not being able to finish Toradora because I just get stuck on the first 5 seconds of the opening every time. Just replaying Taiga putting her thigh highs on over and over and over again. And then 20 minutes later, I'm like, wait a second. I was supposed to be watching an anime. I've just been watching the same 5 seconds over and over.
Let me tell you a little secret. There's this little feature on things like YouTube where you can right click and loop stuff.
Yeah, they finally added that. Finally.
Okay, something that I had to drop the first episode because, again, I'm not going to talk about everything, everything that I watch. But one thing I have to mention is, because it's one of the ones everyone's talking about, is March Comes a Lion. The Shaft show that I knew was going to be like this, because as soon as I saw that it was being broadcast on the NHK, I was like, okay, this is going to be the highbrow anime that's going to get a lot of respect by those people, but going to be
respect.
Why am I so bad? Unlike Rodney Dangerfield, it gets plenty of respect. I got a lot of respect.
I get no respect.
I like the scenes with the cute girls, the three sisters. I wish it was just that and not fucking emo boy with the glasses.
Emo boy with the glasses. I like that.
No, that's it. It's him being depressed and all. That's the entire show of and Shogi, which is so boring.
That being said, I bet I know somebody that likes this show.
Who?
I'm not going to mention their name.
Okay.
For the purposes of not drawing the audience's attention to them.
Call people out.
Yeah, but it's somebody we all know.
But yeah, those three are basically what I've been watching myself. That series. I've watched a couple other things. Like I watched another episode of Asobi ni Ikuyo. Cat Planet Cuties for the Westerners in our audience.
How far are you into that?
I'm 2 episodes in.
Oh, two.
Yeah, I'm being really slow with that. And
Did you see the girl with the one with the glasses yet? Oh no, well actually the other one with the glasses, the one I told you I liked.
Without a description,
The scientist
I have
one.
no idea.
The scientist one from the cat.
Yeah, I would have no idea. She's from the Cat Planet? No, I haven't seen her.
She was in the second episode.
I'm not sure if I finished the second episode.
Okay, then you haven't seen the swimsuit part then. That was the best part of the second episode.
Oh, I'm about to finish the second episode right now then.
Alright. Did the girl with the gun with the glasses show up? She's like one of the main 3.
I think so.
Okay. Because she was the other character I liked in that show.
Yeah, I watched another episode of that. It occurred to me that I never watched the second Genshiken series all the way through, so I restarted on that. Finished the 3rd episode of that, 3rd or 4th episode of that.
Is that the one that's like the second season to the original show, or the one that's really called the second?
That's the one that's the second season to the original show.
Okay, that's not the one with the Fujoshi and all that.
Yeah, no, it's not Fujoshi the animated series.
Yeah, I think that's the one I should see. Is I want to see the one about the Fujoshi.
It's really nice. I'm about 3/4 of the way through that one, and it's good. Genshiken sort of took this direction where it's to a certain extent less about like otaku stuff in general and started focusing more on the characters, but the characters are really nice too, so I don't mind.
Is it wrong that for that other for the Fujoshi one, the Fujoshi just based on her design, I haven't watched it, but I like the fat one.
She's cute. She's straight up cute.
There you go.
Damn it, VZ, we use the term plus-sized.
No, we used the term
VZ up in here fat shaming.
What's it what are those things, motor scooter Americans?
Motor
scooter Americans.
No, what are they called? You know the thing.
Is that the show title now?
What are the things that people use that is really for the disabled, but you know like Walmart?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't really know what the proper term is.
Mobility scooter.
There you go.
Mobility scooter Americans.
Mobility scooter Americans.
Fucking next week on Scale Busters.
Oh yeah, a show that a guilty pleasure of mine I love watching is called My 600-Pound Life.
I can tell you what show I don't like watching.
Basically, Pizza, the television show.
Pizza and invasive surgery. The
pineapples.
Yeah. Pizza and invasive surgery, the television series. Print it.
So is it like
only
a
on
grosser version? Is it a version? Is it a grosser version of Nip Tuck?
Coming up right after Kids on the Slope, the documentary about keeping underage youths from drugs and gangs.
From the hard life, which is basically co-produced by Dare.
Actually, there is a show running this season. I haven't watched it, but it's the one. It's called Kiss Him, Not Me.
That's one I need to check out.
It's the one about the Fujoshi who was formerly fat, but then like got normal, but
then like
got normal.
Normal.
Wow.
God.
You are just stepping over the line.
All right.
But then got like Suzanne Summers workout tapes or something.
Drawing Girl says, yes, this is pretty much true. VC's not a fat shamer. He likes the chubby chicks. Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
I've seen that show. I don't like it. It's exploitative.
Yes.
Gee, you think following around an obese individual?
Let's follow around a morbidly obese person
for entertainment of people. Here's
this
the
isn't exploitative at all.
The most like fucked up thing about that, when you think about it, is they're following around an obese person with clearly a problem, For people, no. For people that are sitting down watching that while eating.
Also, I was saying about the mobility scooters. There was a woman who she was in a mobility scooter and she could not. She was so wide that she could not get into the door out the supermarket.
See, we have things for that. They're called wrecking balls.
It's called putting butter on the side.
Yeah, just like
you're already in the supermarket.
Yeah. You could just
place to do that. We got butter. We got cooking oil. Some supermarkets sell motor oil. Let's go with that.
We got some
Get
Pins
that high
oil.
mileage stuff. Valvoline.
Oh. Hey, we got some mayonnaise. Oh man,
this is disgusting. It's hilarious.
This is fucking gross. Dripping freaking. Oh no. They got like the spray stuff for your pots and pans.
Yeah. The non-stick spray.
Yeah.
Bam. There we go.
And they got to like grease up all the doors. That's whoo. That's rough, man.
Okay.
I think we need to kind of at least try to get back.
Wait, one more thing. Siegfried says, "Got normal. Oh, good. Tumblr is invading. Everything's on fire."
Got normal.
God, I think we've got the name.
Got normal.
Got normal. And they have like the question mark, like those milk commercials.
Okay, one more thing I want to mention, and then we'll talk about.
Then we'll move on to something marginally less offensive.
Maybe.
Well, I watched a hentai, and what a hentai!
Okay. I'm gonna need to know: was this Poro?
No.
Okay.
But I can actually tell you what studio it's from in a sec. But it's called Shoujo Ramen, which basically means girls' lemonade.
Is this a P thing?
This is there was P, but it's a lowly hentai. There was a lowly hentai.
Is Ice-T there?
Oh,
have you seen those fucking commercials for Geico?
Oh, and the studio name is called Mary Jane.
Wow.
I would not know about this if it wasn't for our friend Sukiyoki Magi 99.
Yeah.
Shout out to him.
Outstanding.
And apparently it's based off of a visual novel.
Yes.
Like I love how fast you got that information. like as soon as he's mentioned that, you're like in Bing or something like.
Yes. It probably has the best scene of a loli eating ice cream ever. Loli eating a pop sickle. Very well animated compared to like. Because there was another loli one that I saw.
Contemporary anime.
Well, compared to this other loli one whose name I forgot, but it was done by the same one that did Paradise of Innocence. They had a hentai, and it was just that stupid, that crappy like where they just color it and it's like Flash.
Was it made by Queen Bee? They tend to do that a lot.
It probably was because I heard. That was not worth my time, but this was Shoujo Ramen. So
if you need your loli pee fetish,
Shoujo Ramen.
VZ's got you covered. And
on,
apparently is dropping stuff.
On to something marginally less offensive. Let's talk about this anime feminism thing.
Oh, okay. Sure. Recently. There has become there is a site that has kind of marginalized, like materialized rather,
Materialized.
Marginalized.
was an interesting choice of words.
Yeah. Freudian slip. No. There's a thing out there called anime feminist. That actually is the name. So
Yes.
Whoever is coining these titles needs to be whatever
What
that
was that?
Like, seriously, that sounded like a cat being molested.
Well, you said feminism.
Apologies, sir. I believe you have a dying animal on your premises.
No, I think it was the Ark of the Covenant being opened.
Well, in any case, whoever coined this name, seriously, you need to fire them, because that's like putting a name on an album that says distorted guitar.
Well, I mean, to be fair, look at the contemporary anime criticosphere, and
Their naming schemes.
Well, not even their naming scheme. It's like look at what they output, and you can see like this just makes sense.
It's lazy. Anime feminist frequency, as I call them.
Well, I mean,
no, they're nowhere near that well known. They're already begging for money.
They're trying to get there. Okay, on that, does anyone find it really suspect how they came out of the gate with Patreon?
No, they've been planning that. That's one of those things where they probably had everything lined up, and then once somebody gave them the green light, it was just
I heard some of the people on that are from Crunchyroll.
Okay, so there's this whole controversy where
I forgot about that.
Yeah, there are certain people who are on Crunchyroll staff also writing for Anifem, and it's like it's they do this thing where it's really really interesting the way they do this. Let me see if I can get it up, but it's like it's
plausible deniability.
Plausible deniability. So it's like they'll have the blurb written by the person, and it's like Peter Phobian, associate features editor at Crunchyroll, open paren, acting in an individual capacity, close paren.
Yeah, it's basically.
So they're really trying to push that these people they're doing this on their own, not affiliated with the other company they work for, which is fine. I have no problem with it. Because here's the way I see it as far as the whole Crunchyroll thing goes. If this were to evolve into some kind of Crunchyroll's not going to show this anime because it's anti-feminist or whatnot, they would have done that already, because these people, I'm to assume that these people held these views regardless of whether they write for anti-fem or not.
Right.
My thing is I just don't trust anti-fem. I don't trust anyone whose explicit end game is we want to create a space for people who think like us and not interact with the outside, like in fandom. That's moving backwards to
this is some Waco level shit, Yeah,
it's like the further balkanization of the anime fandom. Yeah, that's what we really want right now. Is we want to split the fandom into more disparate parts, so we can all just not interact with each other and be mutually hostile within each other's groups. Like, are you kidding me?
Hey, I mean, to be fair though, almost immediately a parody has come out.
Oh yeah,
called The Anime Misogynist, which we have to give them. I actually do know who it is, but I'm not going to say that.
Yeah.
In any case, the tagline, holy shit, that had me cackling.
That's easily the best part.
Yeah,
just starting a conversation.
Which it's funny if you've seen so many articles from these places we're talking about.
It's funny if you've seen NFM's Twitter feed, because I remember at some point looking at there and seeing that point. Oh, we're just trying to start a conversation.
That is the biggest weasel fucking phrase of the new millennium so far, as far as I'm concerned, because it's one of those things where it tries to pivot kind of back on you.
Yeah, and like we're just trying to start a conversation by way of saying that means
you're trying to stop it.
Yeah, you're trying to stop conversation.
That bothers me. I think it's a very weasel. I do think it's very much a kind of a sleight of hand thing.
Well, yeah, it's deliberately trying to reframe the discussion in a way that absolves you of all needing to explain what your viewpoint is and how you arrived there.
In the political sphere, we call this spin.
Yeah.
Yeah. In any case, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's really funny. The person behind it very much has a sense of humor.
Yeah.
And is clearly has their finger on the pulse of why all this is fucking stupid.
What did he call it again?
Anime misogynist.
Misogynist.
Right.
You know, making anime great again. You know,
Naturally.
Yeah. Oh, should we before we take a break? Should we give a shout out to that hentai?
VZ found something very entertaining.
Okay,
Entertaining is the word for it.
All right, I guess I'll say it. I saw on Right Stuff they solicited a hentai, and you know when they rename, they release it, they like rename it.
Yeah, something they've been stopping.
Right, because there was a point where they kind of like went with the actual porn companies like Hustler and things like that, and then they kind of tried to market it that way with like parody porn title names.
Okay, so the name of this one is, sit down for this one.
Wait. Do you know what the original name of it is?
Unfortunately, no.
Or maybe is it just like a compilation, because they do a lot of those too?
You know, I don't know. It could be that too. But it's called Grab 'em by the Pussy. Make hentai great again.
Fucking dude.
Yeah,
that's
pretty much
funny.
my reaction.
That's funny.
I can't believe it. I actually legitimately can't believe that they actually went that way with it.
Now somebody needs to make another one that says "I'm in her."
No, someone can someone tweet that hentai to the real Donald Trump?
I'm pretty sure someone already has by now.
Not only that, but I'm sure Donald Trump actually probably does watch that anyway. If he doesn't, I'm disappointed in him.
It's so ridiculous.
Anyway,
we're up against.
I'm sure he's upset. Him and his fucking retractable gear.
Him and his helicopter.
Hey, I lose this election, I'm going back to my helipad.
He's gonna walk out. He's gonna get in his helicopter and fly somewhere. It doesn't matter.
It's like, so can you really say that I lost? I mean, really? It's not like I am not a crook. Anyway, anyhow,
we're up against the break. Keep it right here on NTR Radio. This button.
What does this button do?
Oh, Yuri on Ice is the show all the Fujoshis are into this season.
Yep, and of course they're trying to spin a narrative about how all the otaku are really mad about that, and how otaku are evil, and they're always attacking Fujoshi.
I've seen one person make a negative comment toward it, and it's somebody that's been doing this sort of thing for a decade. So it's
Not Chagan, I hope. No.
I forgot about him. Now he's too busy hanging out at a fucking Huggies plant. Are you okay, man? Dude, you need some water?
Realistically, I should have expected a joke like that, but that just hit too hard.
It's interesting, though, because...
I'll be right back.
That's much funnier than it has any right to be.
Yep. You'd think they'd hang out in a retirement home.
Well, nah. They gotta get to the source.
Yeah. Someone like you know when there's like a new gaming console that comes out and people are lining up the night before.
Lined up in front of that Huggies plant. Camped out. Brought the tent, got one of those folding chairs with the drink holder in it.
Or maybe they prefer Loves.
Pampers.
I think that's good. I think that joke needs to be inserted in there somehow, even in the MP3 version. Just for you laughing. Might I say this music almost sounds like something? What is it from? Just
Virtual Lawn Oratorio Tangram.
Because right now I'm imagining those things where people are in the bumper cars.
Yeah, it's nowhere close to the situation this music is played in.
That or in go-karts when you're cruising around in a circle. Somebody's having Mario Kart flashbacks.
Blue shell, man. The blue shell.
That is one of those games that fucking ruins some friendships.
I'm with you, but I still got to say Sonic Shuffle takes the cake as far as ruining friendships go.
Oh, and then of course there's board games.
Oh, of course.
Which if somebody told me that they got stabbed after one of those, I would not be surprised.
Be surprised. Hey, you stabbed me over a game of Risk. You know what? Maybe you shouldn't have been playing Risk. Playing Risk is
Monopoly. Yeah.
Blaming.
The name notwithstanding.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Whenever I play Sorry and I knock someone's piece out of place, I look at them and say, sorry.
Well, how else could you... There's only two ways to say that, as you did, or yelling it. And your way is funnier because of where it's coming from.
Is it?
Sorry?
Sorry.
Whenever I think of that Zap skit.
It's either the Zap skit or the one where he's the... I think this is the first episode where he's talking about how when he showed his friend the it was before the black white supremacist sketch.
Oh yeah.
And he was talking about when he showed his friend that he's like he said that David set black people back with a comedy sketch, and he's like, sorry. It's just,
I always think of the Zap.
I always think of completely non-committal. Sorry.
I just think of the Zap thing where because like they run into that bank, freeze, and the one dude just gets shot. They're just sitting there. That wasn't supposed to happen. Sorry. He just leaves. Then again, a lot of those skits were really fucking funny.
Oh yeah.
Fucking pop copy. Dude on the phone. Yeah, suck toes. It's like, tell them the computers are down. They should be anyhow. Or how about the one thing that like
Guys, can you give me like 2 minutes? I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no
I got
problem.
more music.
Yeah, we got plus we got plenty of more Dave Chappelle memories.
We got jokes and jokes and jokes.
Let's show you how we rock it out in the street. Why you drop the beat out on me? I can't watch that.
Not drum roll.
I can't watch that skit and keep a straight face. I can't do it.
You really can't.
Like, just the part that kills me every time is when he's yelling, "What?"
What?
And then at the end when he's yelling it, but he's really just yelling it because he can't hear. What? What?
You think that's his thing, but he actually can't hear. Can't just put velvet in the shit and call him nice headphones.
He just throws up, turn them shits up.
Turn them up. Turn them up.
I'm serious.
I'm writing. Morning Rise in the RC, the love contract skit, and how relevant that would be right now.
Or are they talking about the I'm sorry, all I can think of it is that fucking applause thing.
The wrap it up box.
The wrap it up box, yeah. The wrap it up box. What was the one thing where you put it on and it like tells you who you last had sex with or whatever?
Oh yeah, that was the camera skit.
Yeah. It was kind of weird and almost like surreal or something. Yeah. It was really funny, but it was one of those more messed up kind of ways. The first thing I was thinking was, why would that matter unless you were wasted and don't remember?
Exactly.
Okay, now Crunchyroll has officially said Brave Witches Episode 4 broadcast delay.
Okay, so we're confirmed.
Confirmed. I feel like I'm underwater with this music.
I get that. Like, I always get that sort of vibe from this song, but that's again, far and away from the actual situation it's played in.
You could almost see it being like a Super Mario World episode level while you're underwater.
Yeah.
Or a Donkey Kong Country one.
Donkey Kong Country would make sense.
Yeah, like you're riding on guard, which is that like swordfish. By the way, even looking at it now, those games still look really cool.
Oh yeah, they used a completely different style that turned out to age well. Like, unlike Mortal Kombat, which did not age well at all.
Like the first time I saw Donkey Kong Country, like the previews for it, it threw me off because I was like, whoa. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. Interestingly enough, Shigeru Miyamoto did not like that franchise when it came out. I think he was just butthurt that Yoshi's Island didn't do very well at the same time. It was just getting its ass kicked by it. Almost sounds like the Bananas and Blow song by Ween.
Bananas and Blow.
Not quite. This is a little happier sounding than that.
To me, it almost sounds like this would be... Well, no. I was going to say it sounds like this could be like the theme to a Sonic the Hedgehog water level. But those are always more kind of mellowed out.
Yeah, until you start drowning. and they
Of
start
course,
freaking the fuck out.
So then you get to the song that plays when you're drowning, and
then it makes it worse.
Yeah, it makes it worse because it causes you to panic.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, I gotta find one of the worst thing is when you
I gotta
actually
find
get to
either one of those little bubble things or the bubble shield in Sonic 3.
I was gonna say the worst is when you find one of those little like bubble producing like clusters, but it isn't producing it fast enough.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're sitting there walking around like an idiot, trying not to
Listen,
die.
I'm waiting for a big bubble. Let's go.
Come on, man! Come on! I'm dying.
Like Sonic is actively drowning, but is sitting there in the little I'm waiting pose.
Yeah. The worst thing about that is the closer you get to dying, it speeds up. Like the music starts, and that just makes it all the more bad. Because it's just like, this is really, really unnerving.
Yeah, this is getting really stressful. I'm not pleased with how the situation is transpiring.
Like it's more bothersome than when you just like fall in a pit or on spikes or something.
Yeah, exactly.
You just
then that's your fault.
Boop, you're done. When you're sitting there waiting for air, it's just like, this sucks.
So,
Come on.
Come on.
I'm here. What the fuck? Yeah.
All right, I'll be right back.
See, this is the music you hear when you're on hold at tech support.
I am back.
It almost sounds like music you'll hear while you're on hold.
Actually, yeah.
Tech support, they're don't you hate when they start shuffling you around? Like they move you somewhere and then they say, "Well, we can't help you. You need to go here."
Yeah, exactly.
That being said, fucking people with tech support. One of the new scams they do now is there'll be somebody that'll call you and say they're from tech support. Which, by the way, you are a fucking imbecile if you believe that. First off, even when you call tech support, they're not much help. They're not going to call you. That said, if you want to troll them, say you're a systems analyst. They will shit their pants.
I am sorry I took long. If I didn't do what I had.
No worries.
No, I got you. We got plenty. I got all the virtual on soundtracks here, so we got music and music and music.
While
and
you
music
were
and
gone,
music.
Yeah.
While you were gone, VZ, I was telling them that one of the new scams they got, or newer scams they got going out now, is people call you and say they're from tech support and that you have a virus and they need to take control of your computer. Yeah, which, to be fair, I think this is aimed at the non-tech savvy people.
Yeah.
And the elderly.
It's aimed at the dumb people who... Like,
well, I hesitate to call people necessarily that are dumb. They might just not be from the computer age, as we say.
Technically
well,
illiterate.
to a certain extent, we're quickly approaching the age where computer literacy and literacy
is a necessity.
Computer literacy and being able to read are going to be of similar importance.
Right. Okay. But the point is that's the scam they're pulling because they want you to give them, let them onto your computer so they can basically fish all your info.
Yep.
And and here's how, like I said, here's how you control them though. Say you're a systems analyst. One of two things will happen. One, they'll hang up. Or two, they will be scared so shitless.
Systems analyst, system analyst, systems analyst, system analyst.
Nah, it really is a good way to fuck with them, though. Last time they did it, I said I didn't have a computer. and that made them freak out even worse. Because then they just like, not even a laptop? And I'm like, you guys should know you said I had a virus.
Wrecked.
And then they just hung up.
All right, ready to get down on this.
Get to the nitty gritty.
Yes.
All right, we'll show you how. This is old style.
I'm gonna shoot you old style.
Old style.
Well, it's not completely wrong.
Oh, is that like with a guillotine? Gonna hanged, drawn, and quartered. That's how to kill someone old style.
Hey, if you look at the navigation, it says bad articles. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, hang on. I got this link.
Oh, wait, I got it right here.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Hive mind.
We are the Borg.
We are locutus.
Okay, let's roll.
All right, ready on second segment.
All your lollies belong to us.
In 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to NTR Radio.
We have got a treat for you.
Treat is one way to put it.
That's a strong word. Okay, we should point out that this comes from an area. We found an article. Well, it was actually brought to us. Does anybody have the name of the person who did? Offhand?
Not offhand.
Hold on, I can find it.
Yeah.
Just a second.
While you're doing that,
if
you're just joining us live, your experience will be greatly improved by joining us in our RSC discussion. What you're going to do is hit up shieldscontrol.net/podcast. In the upper right-hand corner, you've got the chat link. Follow that. It'll take you to the IRC chat, and you can join us there.
Okay, found it. Somebody, and again, I apologize if this is not how you want it to be pronounced. My bad. Jekko Bob Anime Pants. Yeah.
Oh, okay, Jekko.
Yeah, Jekko UEM is the at. Anyway, they said this would probably break your brain, and boy did it ever. It's a thing under, interestingly enough, under a thing called bad subjects. Which
I don't know if that's intentional or not, but
it's
good.
Funny either way.
It's accurate.
Yeah, I laughed. Okay, apparently, like, how do we even start to approach this?
Okay, so we're talking. Okay, so the title is Anime Otaku, Japanese animation fans outside Japan. Author is Annalie Newitz. This is from April 1994.
Issue 13, and it has a little thing that says, in order to affiliate themselves with anime fan culture.
What magazine was this from?
Good question.
Nobody knows. Who cares right this minute? It doesn't actually say right there. Is maybe bad subject is the name? Who knows? Don't interrupt. In order to affiliate themselves with anime fan culture, anime fans are calling themselves by a name the Japanese use as an insult. Foreshadowing. If you haven't figured out by now that this is going to be bullshit and mass amounts of cray-cray.
Mass amounts of excuse me. I just want to confirm that you just said cray-cray.
and I did that on purpose. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly what zine this is from. If it is from a zine or just some kind of. It looks like if you've ever seen those peer-reviewed journal abstracts, it kind of looks like that.
Looks kind of like that, yeah.
And quite honestly, if you've seen the real peer review people, this is just as fucking loony. For those who don't know, that's a group that basically does take abstracts from scientific journals and things like that, usually full of just crazy junk science and pseudo bullshit.
So, you want to get started?
No. No, I honestly could just chill with some fucking tea and probably have a better time. But we got to do this.
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right. So, how do you want to do this? Do you want to read like one thing and then stop, comment, or?
Yeah,
because there's no way you're going to make it through all this without yelling and.
Yeah, no, we'll go through it kind of paragraph by paragraph and see where it goes from there.
Sounds good.
All right.
And roll.
In Japan, the term otaku is kind of an insult. It refers to a person who is so involved with a particular type of fan subculture that he or she becomes obsessed, even insane. One way otaku gets translated into English is with the somewhat derogatory term fanboy. In America, fans of Japanese animation often call themselves otaku with pride, although they're quick to point out that the term is in fact insulting. Otaku gets appended to any number of fan subculture categories to indicate one's allegiance to them. For example, a motorcycle fan might be a motorcycle otaku, and fans of Japanese animation, known as anime, would refer to themselves as anime otaku. This form of self-identification among largely American fans of Japanese animation tells us something about what it means to consume anime outside Japan. In order to affiliate themselves with anime fan culture, anime fans are willing to call themselves by a name the Japanese use as an insult.
Okay, this is probably the least worst of this thing. So far, nothing too egregious yet.
I still take issue with the idea of otaku being an insult because
it's gonna get worse.
We know that it was vilified from like 89 to 91.
Yeah,
I'm not so sure about 94 though, so that's up in the air to me.
Okay, proceed.
In 1980 to 1981. Exports of Japanese television shows were led by animated programs, which accounted for 56% of total exports. Figures taken from Bruce Dronash's article, Japanese Television in the Handbook of Japanese Popular Culture, 1989. That is, animation is in many ways another Japanese export commodity, like high technology or cars, consumed avidly by Americans who often feel like it's unlike anything available in the West. Hence, we might say, anime otaku interact with Japanese culture and the Japanese economy when they watch anime, which is 100% true.
Yeah, I mean, again, none of this is really kind of getting into the more weird elements of this.
Yeah.
This feels almost like not even the calm before the storm. This is almost seems almost like it's subversive or something because it feels like, okay, this is just kind of like
here's the thing. Up until from at this point in time, all the article is doing is stating fact.
Pretty much, yeah. It's going to get better.
Oh, of course.
And by better, I mean you're going to want to stab yourself in the ear with a pencil or some other object.
Or dipping pen?
Dipping. Yeah, I was about to pull that out. Here, I want to explore what it means when one nation's culture produces an audience beyond its own borders. In this specific instance, I believe that part of what makes anime so appealing to an American audience is the way it so closely resembles American popular media. Many of the genres and stock characters found in Hollywood movies and American television appear in anime. Often, anime make overt references to American popular culture, or feature Western characters. I would argue that anime fans might take pleasure in anime
American fans, dude.
American fans might take pleasure in anime because they do not, precisely because they do not, at some level, feel responsible for participating in the culture that creates it. Although anime fans realize how similar anime stories are to American stories, they eagerly watch an anime because it comes from far away. Watching anime gives Americans a chance to reflect on their own culture, but it also lets them deny that they are doing so. What I want to suggest here is that anime otaku in America consume anime as a way of dealing with, in a displaced form, their investment in American popular culture. That anime is Japanese in origin tells us that Americans' feelings about their own culture are deeply bound up in America's evolving relationship with Japan.
Yeah, okay. This is basically the prelude, as it were.
Yeah.
The rest of it is pretty much when it starts to get... Well, you'll see.
Yeah.
Or you'll hear, rather.
Subheading. Subtitled by fans for fans. Anime can be feature-length films which receive theatrical release in Japan and sometimes in America. They can be OVA or OAV, acronym fans use interchangeably to mean original video animation, or anime which are released only on video, mostly Laserdisc. To date this article.
Yeah, seriously.
OAV are usually shorter than a feature-length film. There are also a number of animated TV series the fans watch. Often a popular anime exists in all three formats, with a TV series spawning a number of related OAVs and movies. Furthermore, anime are frequently based on manga or comic books. The incredibly popular Ranma 1/2, for example, is a comic book, TV series, and several movies.
Also dates itself here.
Yeah, seriously.
The different forms of anime narrative are related, but focus on different aspects of the same storyline. For instance, a TV series might feature a whole cast of characters, but an OVA based on a TV series might tell a story of what three characters are up to on a trip to the beach. What might seem most unusual to the American consumer of anime would be the fact that one narrative could exist in so many different formats: manga, television episodes, OAV, and movies. Again, pretty straightforward, just stating fact. Small distribution companies in the United States will sometimes make anime available to fans who shop at specialty video stores and through catalogs.
Yeah, I was there.
So glad.
You didn't have to do that?
I didn't have to deal with any of that shit.
Yeah, because I remember having ADV catalogs.
Wow.
Like, where it was talking about, Evangelion being this new sensation, and yeah.
More often than not, fans get their anime from each other. There are networks of fans that use home multimedia technology to subtitle anime brought from Japan. Using a software program designed for this purpose, fans transfer anime from Laserdisc to videotape, editing the subtitles. Many of the anime contain this edited-in subtitle. Subtitled by fans for fans, not for sale or rent. I found this on bootleg tapes and several tapes I rented from a local specialty video store.
I always found that's kind of bullshit because I remember having to buy fan subs of things.
That's the whole thing. Supposedly subtitled by fans for fans, not for sale or rent, but then people just outright ignore that to make profit out of it. Matter of fact, just as an anecdote, I got the three set of Macross Plus, both the 4 episodes of the OVA and the movie, and I got them used from FYE. And when I opened it up, I found like these stickers on the disc and stuff from a comic book store not far away from me. So, as it turns out, they were for a while running an illegal anime renting service from that comic book store, because you're not supposed to rent out the retail copies of these discs.
Well, that reminds me of when I first got a Sega Genesis back in the day. It came with Sonic, and it had a giant "not for resale" sign on it.
Anyway, continuing.
To date myself.
Exactly. Fans prefer what they call subtitling, over dubbing, which can sometimes mean a soundtrack of people simply reading an English translation without any effort to act the lines. It's not unusual for fans who do not understand Japanese to watch entirely untranslated anime. With a few exceptions, such as American releases of films like Akira or the TV series Robotech and Speed Racer, both broadcast on American television.
I love how it's like basically 3 generations right there. It doesn't like
yeah, exactly.
The myriad of other things that have been shown that, you know.
Anime is circulated through fan communities, either at conventions or fan clubs. It is for this reason that watching anime and getting anime are often associated with an organized network of fans who meet in order to share their anime at public showings or to trade videos with one another. Which again, true. I wrote a whole article about this in the magazine about how anime clubs went from we need to get together and form this intricate network just to get the stuff to now we can get anime whenever we want. Now what do we do with this organization?
Right. Okay. Proceed. We still got quite a bit to go.
Oh yeah. Fans of anime in America are engaging in what critics such as Dick Hebdige and John Fiske call appropriation.
Okay, gotta stop you right there. This is 1994. This is very much what we would think of as a usage of this 20 plus years ago. Moving on.
All right. They are transforming Japanese culture for their own uses, which are important, which are somewhat different from the uses to which it might be put in Japan. Whereas anime are mainstream culture in Japan, in America, they are still somewhat alternative. For this reason, anime fans enjoy anime partly because it allows them to feel as if they have specialized knowledge ordinary Americans do not. On another level, the fans' appropriation of anime involves translating and duplicating it so that it is accessible to a wider audience in the West. This allows them to convert an entirely Japanese product to a uniquely American one. Some of what may be satisfying for American fans about their fan culture is what allows them to steal Japanese culture. In part, this can be conceived as a form of revenge. Japanese animation, so heavily influenced by Hollywood, is itself already stolen from American culture.
Well,
I feel like this article just went from 0 to 60 from the previous paragraph to this one.
Yeah, okay. And it gets much worse, just to let you know. Very, very much worse.
Okay. Subheading. It used to be 20 guys at a showing. In preparation for this article, I made contact with over 100 fans of Japanese animation, mostly by using the so-called information superhighway.
Is it a series of tubes?
That is the internet.
The series of tubes, man.
We're talking about dating this article.
Yes, holy shit. Like, what's next? Is there going to be like a Nabisco commercial?
Many of these fans responded to a lengthy survey about their interest in anime, which I posted on an internet news group, rec.arts.anime.
I've heard of that.
Devoted to this discussion of Japanese animation. This news group, which is read by... Listen, I don't even know what a news group is.
Usenet. Oh my, they're talking about Usenet.
Like, I joined the internet...
By the time you joined the internet, Usenet was not really a thing hardly anymore.
I've only heard of news groups. Okay. This news group, which is read by people all over the globe, sometimes posts up to 500 messages a day from fans who want to discuss everything from the latest TV series they watch to frequently use Japanese slang terms. I got the most detailed information about anime from a highly organized fan club on the UC Berkeley campus, the Alpha chapter of Cal Animage, a California-wide Japanese animation fan club with chapters at many of University of California campuses, Stanford University and USC, University of Southern California. The offices at Cal Animage Alpha sponsor free weekly showings of anime at the UC Berkeley campus, which routinely draw over 200 people. They also desktop publish a free weekly newsletter, Konshu, which contains information about anime being shown by Cal Animage, fan responses to anime, and even information about Japanese television and video technology. I handed out copies of the survey to people attending one of the Cal Animage showings, and I also personally interviewed a number of officers of the club. Because the fans I surveyed were UC Berkeley students and locals or people with access to the internet, most respondents tended to be in the educated middle class or future middle class. I also received a few responses over the internet from fans in Canada, Australia, France, England, the Netherlands, and Indonesia. Hence, while a vast majority of fans I discuss here are American citizens, a small portion are not. Ben, president of Cal Animage.
You're having problems with that.
This is tripping me up. Told me in the past few years.
That's actually pronounced Animage.
What was that?
Animage.
Animage?
Yeah, I think that's how it's pronounced.
All right. I thought it was Animage because anime and manga, I don't know. But I'm just going to pronounce it Animage because that's how I feel like it's pronounced. Ben, president of Cal Animage, told me in the past years, it used to be 20 guys at a showing. His comment was a typical one. Anime otaku are overwhelmingly male. One officer of Cal Animage I interviewed estimated that 13 to 14% of their membership is female. While attendance at Cal Animage showings has gone from 20 to 200, their audience is still mostly guys. The racial composition of the audience, according to information I gathered in surveys, is more highly mixed. People of Asian and Caucasian descent dominate in nearly equal proportions. Finally, the fans tend to be within the ages of 18 to 25, with a significant minority between 25 to 30. What this information provides us is a sense that of the target audience for anime culture in America, racially diverse men between the ages of 18 to 25. Furthermore, it is clear that the audience for anime has expanded rapidly over a relatively short period of time. Once again, statements of fact, and that's something that has changed dramatically between 1994 and especially today.
I just have to interject this. Zeke said something pretty damn funny.
What?
I have bad news for 1994. There is no future middle class. Oh, ouch. Yeah. The DeLorean is not bringing you good news. Academia is dumb. Yes, it is, Zeke. It does appear to be pretty dumb. And he's totally...
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right.
We still got a lot to go.
With 5 officers of Cal Animage at a local cafe. Their comments about becoming involved in anime fan culture and what it is they enjoy about anime are typical of what I heard from fans in the surveys. Ed, Truly, Rodney, and Egan are all undergraduates at UC Berkeley. Randall is a first-year grad student. Ed emphasized to me a number of times that the most important aspect of any anime is character. Indeed, during the interview, what got discussed were popular anime characters from a variety of TV series and related OAV. Typical characters in an anime, they agreed, were the young male hapless otaku and what Ed called a special girl. Together, they came up with a description of the typical male character as a nice guy, a virginal young man in high school or college that has no luck with girls. truly noted that many of the women in anime are stereotypical, but that some are not. They fight back, she said. They throw things.
I like that. They throw
They throw
things.
things.
You know, it just something about that is very amusing.
Egan then explained that one of the more popular anime characters, Ai from Video Girl Ai, is referred to as a comfort girl in Japanese. This is the same term Japanese used for Korean women used as prostitutes during World War II, he added. Ai is a character who accidentally comes to life out of a video cassette designed to make its male owner feel better when it's played. These character descriptions apply mostly to the genre most popular among the members of Kalanamage, the romantic comedy.
At least it doesn't have those horrible songs that they always play at those theatrical trailers.
Ultimately, the officers I interviewed seemed least interested in discussing the natural origin of anime. While they all expressed an interest in traveling to Japan, they finally told me that asking them about Japanese culture and anime was to pose the wrong questions. Rodney, who said that when he was very young he might have wanted to be Japanese, did note that his interest in anime made him want to go to Japan and find out what makes it tick. Later, he said that the Japanese seem to have a strong sense of culture. In America, people don't have a grasp of history.
Neither do you if you want to go there with this attitude.
Yeah, exactly. Although statistically it would appear that anime fans are racially diverse, those I interviewed were mostly Asian Americans. Often they wanted to account for this by linking their Asian backgrounds to an increased sympathy for the moral values associated with anime. Egan and another officer not present at the interview, Brian, both said that people with somewhat non-westernized Asian backgrounds might be more open to anime because it reflects the kinds of culture they grew up in. None of the Asian Americans who said this were of specifically Japanese descent.
Yeah, like I said, that's kind of a if you want to go to Japan without really any if you want to go there for a vacation or something, I guess, but if you're going there expecting it's anything like anime or that it kind of reflects some kind of larger truth there, that's not going to go well for you.
Well, I mean, it's like me and like the Geeky Panda and other people are planning a trip to Japan, and I'm making no bones about it. The only reason I want to go there is to check out Akihabara, check out the Gundam statue and all that, go to Comiket. Like, everything I want to do in Japan relates to fandom in some way. And I don't really
more
make
or less
any
same
bones about
here.
that.
More or less same with me.
Whereas me being the more history-minded guy, I think I wouldn't be able to do that. I would have to check out like some of these like places that are, like Kyoto or
Well, no, there's merit in that.
Yeah,
The scene merit.
Yeah, and
seeing like old
I'm being
castles or something.
Yeah, to a certain extent, I'm being hyperbolic. There is a whole lot of interesting stuff over in Japan that I'd like to see, but my point is I'm not going to be on this delusion where I consider it a delusion. I'm there to
engage in advanced capitalism.
Basically, I'm there because I like anime, and I wanna get closer to that culture in a way, like as a visitor. Basically,
just like Chagan wants to get closer to the Huggies factory. He's closer to the culture.
Fucking dude.
Okay, continuing. I would point out that both the fans I interviewed and those I surveyed had consistently confused responses when I inquired about the national origin of anime. Many fans claim that Japan is the only source of good animation and criticize American popular culture for being, among other things, stupid, simplistic, boring, and impolite. But at the same time, they often did not want to connect their enjoyment of anime to any feelings they might have about Japan specifically. Furthermore, the non-Asian American fans were just as likely as the Asian Americans to indicate that they sympathize with Japanese cultural values. Racial background seems to be largely irrelevant in fans' interest in anime. Their ambivalence about anime's status as Japanese culture, it seems to me, tips us off on how important this issue really is for otaku. For if fans were really indifferent to anime as a specifically Japanese product, they would certainly not need to organize themselves into clubs devoted to Japanese animation, nor would they have such strongly polarized responses to questions about it. As much as otaku get pleasure out of anime, it seems to me that their enjoyment depends on avoiding anxieties and questions they have about anime's relationship to Japan.
I think this is more of a problem with some of these people that run some of these sites.
I was just about to say, it seems to me like this mentality that we see nowadays, where people seem to have an appreciation for anime, but deeply resent the fact that it's Japanese and created for that audience. I feel like this kind of, like the old school anime club people back in the early 90s kind of solidified that sort of mentality.
Right. Plus, you totally... Somebody actually said exactly that in a review of the Anime Encyclopedia when referring to the authors, and like, you know, because they had this very scowling kind of vibe to it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Continuing. Subheading. Only Japan can write a good story. American fans find anime attractive because it refers to Western, and particularly American, popular genres while at the same time appearing to alter them. In a basic sense, the combination of animation, considered a children's genre in the West, with explicit violent sexuality and adult situations, is itself a juxtaposition American media might not have attended. In the next few sessions, I will be discussing 3 popular anime genres which tend to overlap with each other. Romantic comedy, mecha, a term used to designate science fiction type narratives which focus mostly on technology, and fantasy horror. I also want to suggest that fans' discomfort with the Japanese origin of anime can be connected to male anxieties about sexuality and social power found in the content of anime themselves. This certainly helps to account for the overwhelmingly male-dominated audience for anime in America.
It's gonna get good.
One fan wrote to me, I often tell friends that the best American reference point for comedic anime is American TV sitcoms of the 60s. Partly his response is related to what Kyle Adamage officers told me about typical characters in an anime. The nice guy and the special girl, so common to romantic comedy anime, are unusual in contemporary American comedy, unless they are represented ironically. There are fan names for one particular subgenre in this vein. Magical girls. Magical girls appear in a number of romantic comedies such as Video Girl Ai, Urusei Yatsura, Tenchi Muyo, and Oh My Goddess. All feature young men who have romantic but non-sexual relationships with women who possess superhuman powers. Ai comes to life out of video cassette. Lum is in Urusei Yatsura is an alien. The woman in Tenchi Muyo are spirits, and Beldandi from Oh My Goddess is a goddess Keiichi accidentally orders over the telephone from the Goddess Relief Agency. Like American sitcoms of the 1960s, such as Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie, the magical girl genre features women who are simultaneously powerful and traditionally feminine. Often jokes center around the mishaps involved with the magical girl's effort to hide her powers so that she may appear demure.
I find it kind of interesting to kind of pair this with sitcoms from the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I've seen a terrible amount of them.
Same.
I mean,
a
little before my time. I mean, I've seen a few, but
I know what you're gonna get at. No, I was gonna say because the fact like Bewitched, it was pretty much instrumental in shaping the magical girl genre.
Right.
Not only that, but Another interesting thing that dates this considerably is the video cassette. You can see some people like, what the fuck is that?
Also, wasn't it Toshio Mato, the creator of Yorusuke Doji, that watched like I Love Lucy or something?
Yeah, he actually did say that. He was a fan of that kind of stuff, of that kind of like post World War II kind of Red Scare era kind of shit.
Right.
I don't know. I guess it does have a charm when you look at it from the perspective of I'm not going to be blown up. I don't think people sometimes now, given that the USSR is gone, quite have an idea of how dire that really was.
Yeah, they really don't have an appreciation for just how scared everyone was.
Because
great.
It doesn't matter who fired first; everybody loses.
Everybody is going to die.
I mean, holy shit! I mean, that was true pretty much as soon as they got a hold of the nuke.
Oh yeah.
Then it was just a matter of, okay, MAD is pretty much in effect now.
Anyway, continuing. The magical girl subgenre, based on the idea that women should conceal their power, could hardly exist in the United States at this point in history, particularly since the advent of feminism and the women's rights movement.
Here we go again.
In Japan, feminist issues are largely unrecognized as legitimate social concerns, and their popular culture reflects this tradition. When American fans consume magical girl anime, what they enjoy as different about the genre is precisely its historical incongruence with American mainstream culture. That is, it appears to be a new genre because its comedic exploits are based on a set of cultural assumptions Americans are generally no longer comfortable with. Specifically, the idea that women are subordinate to men and do not participate meaningfully in the public sphere. Magical girls exercise their power, like Genie in I Dream of Genie, largely in the home or the private relationship with a young man. They do not, for example, ordinarily use their power to get work or influence outside the domestic realm. Furthermore, the idea that a powerful woman would have to be magical in the first place is an indication of the kinds of gender roles anime are joking about in romantic comedy are the ones which understand female power to be itself a fantasy. In America, female public authority is an undeniable social reality. Hence, I believe Americans consume magical girl anime partly as a form of nostalgia for the kind of comic situations made possible by traditional gender roles.
Here we go. This is pretty much where it starts to get in the zone, as it were.
In the danger zone?
No, there's nothing dangerous about this. There is brain rot. As you will see.
A fan who wrote to me said, Koreans and Filipinos have been farmed out to do art, but only Japan can write a good story. What it is about Japan about Japan that fans believe makes this good story, I want to argue, is precisely its continued investment in social roles no longer widely accepted in American everyday life. Traditional gender roles in America are associated with various kinds of social oppression and prejudice. However, they are also linked to an idealized notion of romance found in the romantic comedy anime. Male fans might take pleasure in romantic comedy anime not because they wish they could dominate women, but so that they might experience an old-fashioned romantic story. A good romance like this is made possible to a certain degree by the Japanese practices of segregating girls and boys in public situations and placing a strong taboo on sexuality. As a result, relationships between young men and women in romantic comedy anime are based upon sexual innuendo and deferral. That is, they are about fantasized expectations rather than sexual consummation and its aftermath, a common theme in American romance. In anime, romantic love is possible precisely because overt sexuality is not. This sets up for American audiences what seem to be a more innocent and intensely romantic series of encounters between the characters.
Might I point out that the one line really jumped out at me at this. Male fans might take pleasure in romantic comedy anime not because they wish they could dominate women. I'm pretty sure some people would disagree with this.
Oh, certainly.
I've actually heard people say quite the opposite on very, very well-known outlets. Let's just say that. Okay.
Right. The TV series Kimagure Orange Road, which is one of the most popular romantic comedy anime with American fans, demonstrates how this works. Like the magical girl genre, many of its basic themes are, for an American audiences, somewhat anachronistic. KOR, as fans refer to it, is the story of a magical boy, a high school student named Kyosuke, who has telekinetic powers. He falls in love with a young woman named Madoka, who is not magical, but nevertheless so strong, as opposed to the Madoka who is magical.
I know, I couldn't resist myself.
Madoka done came up. But nevertheless so strong that she routinely beats up whole groups of men who menace her. Clearly, both characters are fantastical, and this aspect of the narrative is enhanced by the fact that Kyosuke continually has fanciful romantic dreams about kissing Madoka. That Kyosuke should get so excited and embarrassed by his desire to kiss or date Madoka is a source of amusement for American fans, but also a source of this anime's pretense as romance. In America, young men, and increasingly young women, are encouraged by their popular youth culture to experience their romantic feelings as overtly sexual. Romantic comedies in America are largely sex comedies, not comedies about emotion and wishes. I think in many ways young American men become fans of romantic comedy anime because they represent a form of heterosexual masculinity which is not rooted in sexual prowess but romantic feelings. Anime offered the post-sexual revolution generation romantic comedy narratives which suggest that young men and women do not need to have sex in order to experience love. Admittedly, the kind of love recommended by these animes, often based in social values American feminism has done right to condemn, but the Americans who consume them are also responding to it, and perhaps attempting to escape the hypersexuality of their own media culture by reimagining romance as a relationship which goes beyond the purely sexual.
You want the dick? You want the dick? You want the dick? Can't you just see like that being like one of those Billy Mays type pitch commercials? Like, do you need the dick? You want the dick?
You need it now.
You're going to get the dick. Yeah, exactly. Like just being bombarded by, infomercial style.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Like KOR, the TV series Ranma 1/2 is very popular with American fans. However, Ranma 1/2 is not nearly as romantic as KOR. And it epitomizes those aspects of anime which arouse male discomfort. It features a magical boy, Ranma, whose special power is actually a curse. When splashed with cold water, he turns into a beautiful bosomy girl. His father, Genma, suffers from a similar curse, for he turns into a giant panda when splashed with cold water.
How is that similar?
Yeah, it's an academic article about anime. They don't really know anything of what they're talking about. Both return to their normal body when splashed with hot water. Unlike most of the romantic comedy anime, Ranma 1/2 features a good deal of nudity and sexualized encounters between Ranma and nearly everyone he knows. A frequent joke revolves around whether someone squeezing Ranma's breasts in order to believe that he is transformed into a female. Ranma is perpetually trying to hide his female self at school. Many of the slapstick routines in the series depict his effort to avoid being splashed with cold water in public. Although at home, Genma is constantly throwing him into a handy pool of water outside. I would argue that Ranma 1/2 portrays a number of male anxieties at the heart of the comedy romance genre, which emerged full-blown in the mecha and horror fantasy anime I'll discuss in a moment. Quite simply, Ranma 1/2 demonstrates to the young man who enjoys anime that he is constantly in danger of becoming a girl.
Well, see, in 22 years, this actually seems to be kind of true. At least if you go on the internet. God damn.
The imagery is hilarious to me. Like dudes running around paranoid, scared to death
that their penis is going to invert.
That they will wake up one day and just be a girl.
Like, okay, I'm going to tell you something. Most horn dog guys would actually enjoy that for a limited amount of time. For a limited amount of time. They'd hate it once, that friendly time of the month comes along. Then,
continuing. Because women are often associated in anime with passivity and dependence, a character like Ranma stands in for a number of male fears about losing control of power. Like Ranma, the male anime fan has a feminine half which enjoys passively consuming animated fantasies about love. His attachment to non-sexual romance might be said to feminize him, especially for the fan who watches anime in American context. This fear would be particularly acute, for American romantic comedies are largely aimed at a female audience. But for American otakus, worries about gender transposition, solicited explicitly and humorously in Ranma 1/2, go beyond a fear that he might be enjoying a women's culture too much. He is, more importantly, enjoying Japanese culture, a culture upon which he is increasingly more dependent for good stories, as well as any other number of viable commodities. In other words, his anxieties about becoming a passive, hapless otaku might be related to his dependence. It's just written badly. Might be related to his dependence upon Japanese culture itself. One might say the otaku is a girl in relationship to Japan, the only country which has the power to give him what he wants, a good story.
I got to interject. Don't they stop to think that Takahashi wrote this because she thought it would be entertaining? I'm pretty sure, given what I know about Takahashi, that's probably far more accurate.
See, but we can't go with that paradigm, K-Gods, because that doesn't allow us to write.
Don't forget, Ranma was created by a woman. Articles. So.
Don't forget. Everyone forgets, but don't forget.
Internalized misogyny.
Yeah. Naturally, she had a large trowel stuck inside when she was writing it. What the fuck are you people talking about?
Continuing. Subheading. A culture not poisoned by political correctness. I guess I've been watching too much animation, says a young male character in an OVA version of the mecha Guyver, the bio-boosted armor. He has just encountered a piece of alien technology which envelops him in a large, high-tech suit of armor. While it greatly enhances his physical strength and stature, the Guyver armor also penetrates his body and fuses with him at a biological level. Metal tentacles bury themselves in his face and body and cause excruciating pain. After he uses the armor to defeat a mutant bionoid, it evaporates, and the young man thinks he has been dreaming the whole episode as a result of watching anime. While the narrative like Ranma 1/2 offers to its fans the possibility that the narratives they might enjoy might feminize them, Guyver seems to hold out the opposite promise. Here we find a young male character whose status as an anime otaku ultimately allows him to participate in a fantasy where he becomes strong, aggressive, and nearly omnipotent as a result of him merging with a piece of technology. We might say that the mecha genre is about the kind of hypermasculinity which otaku identify with in order to combat their sense that too much animation makes them into passive consumers like girls.
Wait, what?
Hypermasculinity. That's what the mecha genre is about.
Right. Well, even if I agreed with that, where are you getting that too much animation makes them like girls?
Well, it was that entire thing in the last heading where the otaku who consume anime in America are girls in relationship to Japan. So Japan's the man,
Yeah. So bend over and take it, dude.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Bohica, man, bend over. Here it comes again. Gotta spread your cheeks and accept Japan.
And once again, Occam's razor. Have we ever considered that robots are just cool? Like
that's what I was saying when I saw the Guyver originally.
Yeah. I mean, like,
blood in cartoons.
Who saw? I don't know,
I was
X
11.
or whatever, and thought, wow, who intellectualized that other than just thinking that's fucking cool? It blew shit up.
SDF Macross, robots in space. Listen, if you don't think robots in space is cool,
wait, two things here.
I don't want to be associated with you anymore. Like,
okay, let's go back to that theorem we came up with. If you don't like space,
you're probably gonna end up a serial killer.
Now, we could also add into that sort of paradigm robots and dinosaurs.
Listen, it's space, robots and
dinosaurs in space. Yeah, the three.
You realize that if Zoids were more like Gundam and had a space aspect, that would be all three in the same thing? Wouldn't that be the best thing ever? Like, maybe. Dinosaur robots in space.
I already said, guys, I already said that, Dinobots from Transformers. You got robot dinosaurs from space. It's all three.
Yeah, it's the coolest thing to an 11-year-old.
Anyway, it was to me, at least.
But in many ways, mecha is treading the same ground as the romantic comedy. There's a subgenre of mecha that parallels closely with the magical girl subgenre of comedies. These mechas, such as Bubblegum Crisis, Dominion, Ixer 1, and Appleseed, feature women or female mutants who use Guyver-like armor or high-tech ships and motorcycles to fight crime, corruption, or monsters of various types. Unlike magical girls, however, these women use their power openly, but tend to hide their gender in one way or another. Especially in the series Bubblegum Crisis, the team of women is so heavily armored that occasionally a character will marvel, "Are your women under there?" ? The space romances Robotech and Macross, which several fans call techno porn.
I'm interested in some techno porn.
Let's go. Combine romantic or sexual themes with mecha adventure and battles. In these anime, the romantic themes are, like the women's bodies in Bubblegum Crisis, hidden beneath mecha action and sexuality.
Seriously, can somebody hook me up with some techno porn?
This is confusing to me, because I don't think they're being accurate when they say, especially Ixer 1. I really don't think that they're making any effort to hide that these are women, like inside these mecha suits.
Yeah, I mean they have high heels for.
Yeah, like the mechs have high heels. You're not. Like,
and one of them is fucking hot pink.
Wait. Robokek.
Robokek.
I like that.
But like you're never gonna design a machine that way. That's like the angel wings in
it's there because
in Endless Waltz.
Yeah.
That makes no technical sense.
That makes no
because it looks cool.
That makes no schematic sense whatsoever. But it's just there because we can.
What? Or when I think of like the Zaku, we're gonna put these tubes on its legs, even though it could be easily ripped off.
and just gonna point, don't fucking remove those. Those things are cool.
Well, here's the thing. We're gonna put these tubes on its legs. What do? We don't know. Can anyone tell me what the tubes on the Zaku's legs and torso are for? Because I've heard conflicting in the head. I've heard conflicting arguments from all sides. Nobody can give me a straight answer. They're really just there because they look cool. They look militaristic.
Yeah, and you know what? Cool.
Yeah. Right. Hey, I'm down. Let's go.
Then again, I'm somebody who loves the mono eye.
Yeah.
I've always thought that was cool as shit.
Continuing.
How come the good suits have the two eyes?
But the two eyes, but the bad guys have the one eye.
Yeah, because this is a reference to Odin.
Continuing. To demonstrate what this might mean, I want to turn briefly to representations of men and women in Guyver. There we go. While men come in contact with the Guyver armor experience agony as it first penetrates their skin, the women who don Guyver armor are penetrated vaginally by its metal tentacles, stripped naked, and given what appear to be orgasms as the armor envelops them.
Oh, so this person is talking about the one-shot Guyver OVA, not the Guyver OVA that I saw originally, which was the OVA series that was like 12 episodes.
I get the distinct impression that this individual has not actually watched a whole lot of anime.
Yeah, this is the one
even back in '94.
Yeah, this is the one. This is actually the first adaptation from 1986, which has very little to do with the manga because there wasn't much manga material. That whole thing with the female Guyvers just was an anime original. So, but yeah, okay, continuing. Sorry.
The technology characteristic of the mecha genre does not just conceal female bodies, but female sexuality and ultimately reproduction.
Because totally we think about that while we're watching, sci-fi.
Listen, the only thing who thinks about that is Rika from Haganai.
Well, she. To be fair, she actually has mecha itself fucking other mecha.
Isn't it hilarious that the only person who we can come up with who thinks this way about mecha is another anime character?
And also a woman.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I know that female Transformer fans are really into like the slash fiction of.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Continuing. Bodies manipulated by mecha science are merged with pieces of technology in order to give birth to new beings. In All-Purpose Cat Girl Nuku Nuku, for example, All-Purpose Cultural Cat Girl Nuku Nuku, for example, the main character Ryunosuke creates a new sister when his father, the scientist, gains a new sister when his father, the scientist, creates Nuku Nuku out of the body of a robot and the brain of a cat. This is an instance in which childbearing is certainly being equated with the merging of technology and biology. I would submit that this kind of reproduction in mecha gets associated with women because it is understood to be a sign of weakness.
Yeah, you're overthinking this big time.
How many mecha series do that?
Not only that,
I can think of only these examples, and that's it. I've never seen that kind of thing done in Macross. You could argue that it's done in Gundam, but those are in side stories that have not been animated.
Okay. We got to keep going. We still got a decent amount left.
Mecha reproduction involves the codependence of two radically different orders of being, human and machine. In some ways, mecha bodies may be read as fantastical representations of interracial and international relations.
Yeah, because when I think of these mergings of man and machine, I think of fucking NATO or challenging the
exactly.
Soviet sphere.
Seen from this perspective, the human-machine union stands in for separate peoples or countries who depend on each other for strength. In Japan, a country with a history of isolationism and racism, such codependence would indeed appear to be a problem or a source of vulnerability. Unlike Americans, who in general are familiar with the idea that their culture is a multiculture, the Japanese do not wish to consider their culture mixed in any way. Multiculturalism is a concept quite alien to Japanese society, in which non-Japanese people, such as Koreans, face intense discrimination and contempt. Children born in Japan of mixed-race couples are equally likely to be victims of prejudice, particularly because they embody the result of two separate cultures or societies coming together. American fans of anime are aware of Japan's tradition of maintaining cultural purity, but they do not seem to understand it as racism. One fan, Korean-American of the Korean-American descent, remarked to me that his grandfather was rather upset by his interest in Japanese culture. but I don't want to blame Japan for what they did in the past, he said. Another fan wrote to me that what he found noteworthy and refreshing about anime is the fact that it is made by people from a different culture, and one that is not utterly poisoned by political correctness.
You hear that?
Again, 1994.
Yeah, I mean, like when I read that, it struck me. This is why this had to be done.
Yeah.
Because it struck me as so relevant. I mean, to the kind of shit that's going on right now.
Like if you were to replace some titles of anime, this could be written today.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In America, the problem of interracial or international relations in mecha is understood as a problem with political correctness. American fans may consume mecha as a form of escape from the kinds of stories America produces when it wants to appear non-racist, non-sexist, and non-homophobic.
Captain Planet!
There you go. The absence of...
I don't know, Captain Planet. I don't know, Captain Planet's pretty gay.
Hey, non-homophobic.
Anubis. Cripple Kwame.
Cripple Kwame. Doozy bots, man.
Doozy bots.
The absence of political correctness in anime might be a source of pleasure for American fans confused and alienated by new rules of social interaction, which have grown out of multiculturalism. This allows American fans to overlook the way Japanese anti-political correctness shows up in anime, largely as a result of nationalist xenophobia, and specifically as a form of attack upon American national ideas of racial and cultural equality.
My head.
This is interesting to me, actually, because we can say that we had to do this human machine thing to represent interracial relations, or we can watch SDF Macross, where the captain gets in an interracial relationship with a black girl, and known champion Maximilian Genius marries a Zentradi woman. So we can look at the fake interracial relations thing, or we can look at what they're actually really doing in anime. Again, it strikes me as this person just has not watched a whole lot of anime and just wanted to do this kind of thing to push a sort of narrative. Continuing. In horror fantasy anime, it is frequently the case that social disruption is a direct result of merging or interdependence of formerly separate cultures, realms, or species. The movie Vampire Hunter D, for example, centers upon a half-vampire character who battles to preserve the separation between the supernatural and human realms. 3x3 Eyes is another fantasy horror series about the chaos that ensues after Pi, a non-human girl from Tibet, and meets up with the young man Yakumo. Pursued by mutants and spirits which interfere with Yakumo's social life as a high school student, she eats Yakumo's soul and forces him to help her on her quest to become human.
Might I point out?
Go ahead.
Might I point out that Pi, a non-human girl from Tibet, it's also a number. Just to lighten up the situation.
The OAV series Overfiend offers the most, they're going there. Offers the most explicit instance of this anti-multicultural bent in anime. The Overfiend is a being who has the power to unite the human world and with the demon world and the man-beast world. And we discover early on that this is a dangerous power because it will lead to chaos, death, and miscegenation between beings from each world. In fact, in a vision of the post-Overfiend future, we see a burning city filled with humans copulating quite graphically with beasts and demons.
Which is really awesome, by the way.
Which is cool as hell.
I'm just going to point out, if you haven't seen Rotsuki Doji, you really should.
Yeah. It's a classic in more ways than one.
Even if you find it absolutely repulsive, you should at least see it once.
Yeah.
And make sure you see the OVA version, not the...
Well, see any version you want. See something. Get a hold of something.
Yeah, whatever you can get, because it's fantastic either way. I should state up front that Overfiend is one of the most unpopular anime among American fans because it is pornographic and extremely violent.
Yeah.
That's why you should see it.
But it's also one of the few that has been, at least the movie version of it. I remember this because I remember renting it. It had an NC-17 rating.
Yeah.
Which, that's
that
rare
bad.
anyway. It's the thing is, and maybe you guys have both seen it, so you might agree or disagree with this. It's one of those shows that is so interesting that you can actually take out all the porny elements of it, and it's still awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't do that with like any other thing of this nature, really. I mean, you can't do that with Little Blue Girl.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, not really.
Continuing. I would argue that possibly another reason why fans dislike it so much has to do with its open hatred for what it associates with American culture. When the Overfiend begins to manifest itself, we discover that his power is linked to sexual reproduction. Nagumo, the Overfiend's human father, first experiences his supernatural powers when engaged in intercourse. His penis becomes so large that it causes his partner's body to explode. Then it grows to the point where it bursts out of the roof of the building he's in and destroys the city in a flaming blast of sperm.
Okay, if you don't want to watch this now and you never have,
Yeah, exactly.
you're just, I don't know. Just from the way that was described, if that doesn't excite you in kind of a morbid way.
Also, number one pick for best sentence in this article so far.
Yeah. By the way, you're right, because I looked up list of NC-17 films, and yeah, it says Yorosuga Doji.
Yep.
I know. And keep in mind, when I rented it, I was like 15.
There you go.
And after watching it, I will not hesitate to say I had a serious moment of, what in the fuck did I just watch? And I'm not sure I want to see anymore.
Regarded, flaming blast of sperm. Watching this animated, I had to find my place. Okay.
Yeah. You just wanted to say that again.
It is clear that his penis has become some kind of atomic bomb. Moreover, this atomic blast sets the stage for the birth of the Overfiend, a being which will allow the human realm to be invaded by demons and man-beasts. Regarded in this way, we might understand the Overfiend to refer allegorically to American intervention in Japanese culture during and after World War II.
I'm going to stop you right there. I met the guy who made it. You're full of crap.
This is, okay, this because I'm going to go off right now. This is why I hate this whole death of the author thing. Because once you disregard anything the author has said and anything surrounding the genesis of this work, then you can just go buck wild and say whatever you want.
Quote, ejaculation is, Drawing Girl from the chat says, ejaculation is an atomic blast. It adds a whole new meaning to dropping loads. But no, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I've met Toshio before, and, well, I didn't exactly like have lunch with him or anything.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
He addressed the crowd, and you were in the crowd.
Yeah, and people did Q&A and stuff. And trust me, none of this shit is anywhere near being correct.
It's so ridiculous because I might just be an idiot. Complete full admittance. I might just be really stupid with regards to this kind of stuff and this kind of criticism and all that. But to me, it's a lot more interesting when the person who created something says their thought process. Yeah, explains their thought process when creating it, rather than reading people like this just going buck wild and saying whatever is convenient to them and whatever worldview, whatever fantasy world they want to construct surrounding the genesis of this work that they didn't create.
Well, all you gotta know,
it's completely narcissistic. It's saying, well, the creator might say something about this world, this work.
But here's what I think.
This piece of entertainment, this piece of media, this piece of art that they created. But that doesn't matter. Here's what I think about it.
Well,
ridiculous.
Might I interject that this guy was not a traditionally Japanese fellow. He dropped out of school, for fuck's sake. And that's like certain death there. Like that's contributing your life to a janitor if you're lucky.
Yeah, but I mean, hey.
Like how could you possibly, like I said, he was a fan of like the most. You wouldn't. These are things you wouldn't suspect. Like if you were to see something like that, you wouldn't think that he also has done children's stories.
Yeah.
Or that. I mean, I do because I have seen enough Japanese creators do like a complete plethora of stuff that's very, very wide-reaching in terms of subject matter.
You would say that because you actually immerse yourself in this subculture.
I mean,
you actually have something invested in this subculture, and you're not just writing essays, assuming things because you subscribe to dumb, asinine, useless rules, arbitrary rules created by other critics for other critics to follow for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, and I'm sure you guys will both agree with this, if you know anything about a lot of these creators or creative circles, if you like, you'll note that many of them, you're not surprised that somebody who's done like, G-rated shit also does porn.
Yeah.
Here, that's really weird. You would not suspect, like, somebody that makes those kind of movies would also do porn. Now, over there, that's actually pretty common.
Here, we fire our teachers for having done porn in the past.
Oh yeah. Like in any kind of relevance with it, or relation, not relevance.
Anyway, continuing.
Okay, easy now, easy.
Since the American occupation of Japan did begin with an atomic blast, and it did cause the intermingling of Japanese and American culture, it's hard to avoid this interpretation. No, it's not. It's very easy.
No, it's not.
Interpretation.
You've been reading too much Susan Napier.
I thought the South like this shit.
Moreover, the overfiend is associated with hypersexuality and a post-multicultural world, a world after the realms come together. I stated earlier that American gender roles are more highly sexualized than those in Japan, and the miscegenation that is in many ways the sexual corollary to multiculturalism. What the overfiend's gigantic penis grotesquely caricatures, I would suggest, is American imperialism in Japan.
Except it doesn't.
Which you can suggest that all you want. Doesn't make you any more right, and doesn't make any of this like relate to what you're talking. Like, okay, we can take a look at the concept of, okay, all these demons are invading and that's bad, and we can look at that and say, oh, it's bad because it's an allegory for multiculturalism, or we could say it's bad because demons are invading.
Well, not only that, but here's what he had to say.
Wait, demons are invading? Yeah, I'm gonna assume it's bad if demons are invading. Like, I would assume if we looked back, way back in Japanese culture, prior to
demons,
prior to any contact with America, I would assume they thought demons invading was pretty bad.
Not only that, but given their actual background with Shinto and their native animist religions, demons were a very real idea.
Demons invading, yeah, it's pretty bad. It's always been bad to the Japanese.
But here's the thing, in this, despite the fact that they're portrayed as quote unquote, evil, they're demons, of course.
Demons.
But at the same time, it's also portrayed almost as some kind of balance thing. You know what I mean? It's a world that has to exist.
Well, yeah, it's a world that has to exist and has to stay separate from ours. It's the whole yin and yang thing.
Except there's actually three in this case.
Yeah, but for good, there must always be bad. There too, should the two interject, because that's really bad. But to balance out the force, both of these things have to exist, and that's a concept you realize exists when you look past your own nose and decide to look into, hey, maybe some of this stuff has a cultural origin instead.
Well, not only that, but he himself, he created this whole thing based upon he didn't want to make a boring, typical adult material, is what he said. He a typical romance story. He actually wanted to go. The only reason the demons thing, or even the demons and so forth, are even a thing, is because of the tentacle deal.
Yep.
It was a creative way to get around the censorship, which interestingly enough is actually our fault in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And he seemed very, very kind of bemused by the fact that people think it's just like really. It was like just some. It was more fetishistic than it was, rather than a creative loophole.
Right. Exactly.
Which it's funny when you look at it that way, that this fetish, if you want to call it that, it is actually the result of them just trying to weasel their way around, mosaics and
Exactly.
so forth.
Continuing. The American occupation of Japan is a topic which has been treated in manga such as Barefoot Gen and anime films such as Grave of the Fireflies.
You'll note there are no giant penises in these movies.
Naturally. In fact, American influence on Japanese culture during the occupation is in many ways responsible for both the look and generic narrative qualities of anime in Japan. Frederick Schultz, in his book Manga, The World of Japanese Comics, Kodansha America 1983.
I used to own that book.
Ooh. Writes that Japanese styles of animation are heavily influenced by both Western political cartoons and Disney animation.
This is not news for any.
Yeah, anyone who knows anything about this medium knows that Disney was a heavy influence in early anime. Many fans wrote to me that they felt good Japanese animation reminded them of Disney, and famous anime director / illustrator Hayao Miyazaki is open about his admiration for Disney's animation style. In other words, anime is itself a product of the American influence on Japanese everyday life, especially after World War II.
No shit, you want a cookie for pointing out the obvious?
Yeah. Here's the everyone knows this. No one is connecting it to no one is connecting that back to
a giant penis?
Kadoji and allegories to the nuclear bombings. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, if anything, the Overfiend itself is the allegory to the nuclear bomb. Really?
Continuing.
I've heard some weird theory that the whole thing was a allegory from everything from
teenage pregnancy.
Yes,
I've heard that one too.
And AIDS.
Weirdly enough, I could almost see that. Like if the thing is you can make it fucking about anything.
Yeah, this is why I'm so hard up on let's stop with this death of the author thing. Because you can spin any story to be about anything.
As long as you're creative enough, you can.
As long as you're creative enough and can look at the text and pull out this and that tiny detail and connect it to something that you want to connect it to, you can do that. So it doesn't matter. It's not hard.
We still got 2 big blocks left, though, so we got to kind of get going. Stop talking about big penises.
Subheading: I wish it were Western. I suggested before that what makes the romantic comedy Ranma 1/2 notable is the way it deals explicitly with male fears about becoming feminized otaku. At this point, I want to connect this anxiety up with Overfiend's allegorical representation of imperialism. If the otaku is feminized for consuming Japanese animation and the Overfiend is hypermasculinized because he is associated with imperialism, then we must come to grips with how these gendered representations fit together. I would argue that relationships in which women are subordinate to men could be said to stand in for imperialist relationships where one country is subordinate to the other. Yeah, exactly. This could certainly help to explain why Ranma is not only feminized, but also associated with China, a country invaded and occupied by Japanese imperialist forces several times during the 20th century. Ranma's curse is, in fact, a Chinese curse, which he got during martial arts training with Genma in China. Moreover, Ranma wears his hair in a queue and his clothing is Chinese. At school, the students refer to him as the one in Chinese clothing. Ranma's feminization, in other words, is bound up in his Chinese identification. On the other hand, the Overfiend's ability to cause separate realms to colonize one another, to be an imperialist power, is associated with American masculinity. He literally penetrates a city with his penis. Okay, runner up for best sentence in this entire article. What happens here is that these figures bring together feminization with colonization and masculinity with a colonizing country.
Okay. I'm sure Takahashi actually had no complete fucking idea that this thing was going to be written many years later.
Why don't we just ask these people why they made the stuff they made? What's so hard?
Let's not forget that Japan takes a fuck ton of its style and influence of everything from China.
Yeah.
Like, even including their fucking writing system.
Why don't you just ask the people why they made what they made? Like they still exist.
Yeah, and China certainly still exists.
Back in '94, like Tosha Maeda didn't like disappear between like '92 and '98. Well, like he's a dude. Just ask him why. Continuing.
I would almost like to translate this and send it to him just to hear him fucking laugh.
When Americans are anime otaku, they are in a sense admitting that they want to be colonized by Japanese culture. As much as they dislike or avoid American culture, and even if they are from Asian racial backgrounds, they are still Americans, and they are rejecting their national culture in favor of another national culture. Furthermore, the act of doing so seems to threaten them with feminization and disempowerment. This suggests that fans are engaging, consciously or unconsciously, with an imperialist relationship where Japan is dominant. Certainly, Japan is not dropping bombs on America, nor is it threatening to invade. It doesn't need to. Japanese anime could be said to work as cultural imperialism, in which the superiority of Japanese culture convinces Americans that it is only right for the Japanese to influence certain aspects of their lives. Granted, go ahead.
Am I the only one who's getting serious South Park vibes here?
That one up the Chin Pokemon episode?
Yes. like this is how dumb this sounds.
Yeah, exactly. Granted, it is a long way from influencing Americans' imaginations through popular culture to controlling American national interests outright. But I think it is no coincidence that the anime is growing in popularity just as Japanese systems of business management and Japanese corporations themselves are replacing American ones all over the United States.
Dude, they've been doing that forever with fucking cars, you idiot.
Like, whatever happened to it's just better? Like,
and not only that, but most people I know actually don't prefer Japanese vehicles.
It's like these Japanese business practices that you're talking about are really efficient. The whole concept of lean manufacturing, where you don't manufacture a surplus just to have a surplus. You manufacture how many you actually need. Comes from Japanese business practices, and we adopted it because it's better.
And because it's just efficient.
It's more efficient. It allows people to make more money with the resources they have.
That sounds just like what the amount of anime that they like sell on like Blu-ray. they make as much as
Yep.
they expect to sell.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is not a surprise to anybody who knows anything about the way their business sense works.
Listen, if you had the choice of, I'm going to, I have this amount of resources, and I could utilize it in a way I make more money, or I could utilize it in a way I make less money. Do you really care what culture these methods come from? The bottom line is what counts.
Okay, let's go on. We still got some more.
Continuing. I do not wish to simply imply that anime are causing Americans to submit to Japanese economic control, but rather call your attention to the way the two forms of influence go hand in hand. Anime, as I said at the beginning of this essay, are just another Japanese commodity flooding the American market.
Might I point out that this sounds really, really fucking paranoid?
This sounds really, really Americentric.
Not, I mean, doesn't this totally sound like almost...
This reminds me of that guy on that podcast who shit-talked VZ and then went on to say some really stupid shit about how Japan should be creating anime for Americans because there's more Americans.
Well, or how about... I don't know. Some of it reminds me almost of something like Alex Jones would say. They're controlling us through their for their Japanese products.
They're putting anime in the water.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're putting this anime, or in this case, it appears to be a penis to this person,
naturally,
into the American social norms to be dominated, of course.
Randall, a fan I mentioned earlier, remarked that the only difference between Japanese animation and American popular culture is that it's in Japanese. Later, when I was talking to the Kyle Animagi officers about American cultural influences in anime, Randall said, "I wish it were more Western." Randall's statements, it seems to me, go to the heart of what American otaku both love and fear about their status as fans. They are pleased to recognize aspects of their own culture in Japanese narratives, for it makes anime seem familiar and yet distant. Therefore, they can enjoy American stories that they do not feel invited to enjoy in American culture. Fans also appear to take pleasure in narratives which seem American, yet remain free from contemporary American conventions associated with feminist and multiculturalist political correctness. However, as Randall implies, there is a way in which fans desire to make anime their own, more Western culture. But if anime is, for many fans, just American culture translated into Japanese, what is it they wish were more Western about it? The answer to this question takes us back to the popularity of American romantic comedies, which Americans find so potent because they're based upon gender roles as Americans associate with the 50s and 60s. This period of time, the post-war period, was also when America exerted its greatest influence over Japan. In fact, this is when American troops occupied Japan. In other words, American nostalgia for previous forms of gender relations in America is linked to nostalgia for earlier versions of imperialist relations as well. Exactly. Romantic comedy anime remind Americans of a time when the Japanese were firmly under American control. This is interesting to note that by 1963 and 64, there were 54 American TV series running on Japanese television. Hence, American control over Japan consisted of a combination of military and cultural imperialism. When fans desired to make anime more Western, they're wishing that their own American culture could be as superior as Japanese culture, and perhaps that America might then occupy the dominant position in an imperialist relationship in Japan. Ultimately, Japanese culture seems to resemble American culture so closely because both are cultures dedicated to imperialism. Subheading: simply because you can draw something doesn't mean you should.
Oh, God.
I want to close with some speculations as to why animation specifically has become Japan's chief cultural export. In particular, I was intrigued by the way fans responded to Japanese animation as realistic, but simultaneously better suited for representing fantasies. Fans I interviewed and surveyed remarked upon the fact that anime are realistic because they're aimed at an adult audience, unlike Western animation, which is largely aimed at children. Randall said that he enjoys the way animation allows him to feel that there's no dividing line between special effects and what is real, just the way somebody imagined it. One fan wrote to me, disgusted with bad animation, seemed to imply that he felt this was part of the problem with anime, where all things are possible. Simply because you can draw something doesn't mean you should, he said. Throughout this analysis, I've been referring to culture and how it generates relationships between individuals and nations. One way culture does this is through ideology, which Louis Althusser has described as the unity of the real relation and the imaginary relation between people and their real conditions of existence. What this means, put simply, is that ideology is one way people make reality change to suit their imaginations. Animation, to my mind, is therefore a narrative form which is well suited to act out ideology. I do not mean that animation is more ideological than other forms, but simply that it is easier to convey the possible reality of what we imagine in a form that does not distinguish between reality and fantasy. If we consider anime to be part of Japanese national ideologies, then it is no wonder that American fans have become convinced that Japanese culture is superior to American culture. Anime promise that what Americans imagine to be pleasurable can be acted out only with the help of Japanese intervention. Let me offer you a final example of the way Japanese animation works as a form of ideologically specifically aimed at influencing a Western audience. Anime feature multiracial casts of characters, many, if not most of whom, are clearly Western. Often lead characters, especially women, have blonde hair and big blue eyes. Some anime, such as Riding Bean, take place in America, though Bean himself is supposed to be a combination of all the best races in the world. What this means is unclear. Bubblegum Crisis and its team of Asian and Caucasian women takes place in Mega Tokyo, a city of the future populated by people of all races in what appears to be equal numbers, unlike contemporary Tokyo. What these anime act out is a fantasy in which white people and Japanese people are interchangeable.
I'm sorry.
Isn't
this just sounds fucking retarded.
Absolutely, like, I'm holding myself back from stopping and just pointing out just how ridiculous all of this is. Because
fucking Randall, man.
this is just bizarre and off the wall to anyone who's watched any great number of anime.
I mean, like, it just... There's no way this person didn't come from some kind of sociology.
There's no way this person watched any anime.
Like my brain,
like into anime. And
my brain still
also
feels
believe
like
all
it's
this
melting again, just like I did the first time I read it.
But what is important to remember is that these representations are ideological. They are imaginary versions of East-West relations that might exist someday but do not exist yet. What this kind of ideology might seem satisfying and right to Americans raised in a multiculture. We must also remember that the Japanese are not a multicultural. Furthermore, this multicultural fantasy takes place largely in Japan, and all the races are speaking and being Japanese.
No shit, it's for them. It's on their television, you dipshit.
Yeah, I'm gonna make an anime to release in Japan where the characters speak
most people
Swahili.
can't speak something that we don't understand.
Like
this is like complaining that all the characters in Dragon Ball Z speak Japanese, even though they're from different parts of the fucking universe.
What these anime suggest is that a very American-looking multicultural is in fact Japanese, and it suggests that the Japanese are quite aware that part of the target audience for this anime might be outside Japan, in multicultural America. In a way, these anime want to imply that Americans are already Japanese.
I just can't. I don't even. Like, you really do sound like the fucking South Park episode. Like, which was hilarious because of how paranoid it was.
Yep. If Americans are already Japanese, then it should be no surprise to any American that Japan, economically speaking, owns a large portion of the United States. This is how ideology... Not anymore. I would argue not ever, in fact. This is how ideology works to cement imaginary relationships and material relationships.
They used to own a lot of New York buildings, but not anymore.
Yeah. This is like how people like to argue that China owns the U.S. when most American debt is held by American citizens through by way of treasury bonds. But moving on. Americans who are fans of Japanese anime are in many ways undergoing the same process American corporations pass through when they are bought by Japan. They are both being assimilated into another culture, one which they are convinced is similar, is somehow superior. More often than not, it seems to them that they were always part of that culture. While I do not think this is necessarily the problem for one culture to influence another, there are a number of lessons America could do well to learn from Japan. The idea that Japanese culture is superior to American culture is what makes the ideology of anime dangerous. Anime help accustom Americans to the subordinate position in relation to Japan.
End of article. Okay, can we just say it's dangerously Japanese?
Dangerously Japanese! Yeah!
Electric
drop it for that. Yeah, let's go.
Outstanding.
すごい
Impressive.
Yeah, dangerously Japanese.
Electric Boogaloo.
Just I feel like I need to take like about 100 ibuprofen.
This is fucking worse than an R.L. Stein book.
I think
Okay,
I died.
first off, this person seems
5
fucking...
times.
But this person seems absolutely paranoid. That somehow we are going to come under the occupation of Japanese social norms. Which A, is not going to happen.
It hasn't happened, and there was really no threat of it happening. Anymore.
No, on numerous levels. And 2, you know why they are.
Should we now say what this person looks like?
No, that's irrelevant.
No, it's not. That's not particularly relevant. I will, however, read the blurb down here at the bottom. Annalie Newitz is a senior editor of Bad Subjects. She is also a PhD candidate in the English department at UC Berkeley, currently writing her dissertation on monsters and psychopaths in American popular culture.
So basically, here.
Pretty much.
This person is batshit goofy.
I don't even want to say that, because that implies that she has no control over what she thinks. Here's my thing. You have to try to get to these conclusions about this material. Number one, you have to not have watched a whole lot of anime to come to these. Number one, her assessment of the magical girl genre. Is it me, or is there a wide disconnect between what she represents the magical girl genre as and what anime fans represent the magical girl genre as?
I think she meant to say the magical girlfriend genre, which
magical
is
girlfriend. But even so, if you're gonna do this kind of material, you could at least nomenclate properly. And it just goes to tell me that this person hasn't seen a lot of this material, has no real investment in this material, this subculture, or this fandom, past looking at it from the outside looking in to make commentaries about it in line with some kind of pre-canned ideological message that they're trying to portray. This strikes me as the same kind of material that Database Animals is, where it's someone who has no real investment in the culture, the subculture, the fandom, the material, making commentaries on it from the outside looking in. No real effort to really get down to the baseline level of why these people like what they like, past what for them satisfies whatever they're trying to get at in the material they're writing. And it especially jumps out to me when she starts doing this whole death of the author thing, where now Rosakadoji is an allegory for American imperialism and the United States occupation of Japan, but we have nothing really to back this up other than this author's interpretation of the material, which we don't know is reliable, especially given her assessment of other elements of the medium and other elements of other works of anime, especially given her quite limited list of citations of these various different anime. When I think the mecha genre, regardless of how good Ixer 1 is, regardless of how good Dominion Tank Police and Appleseed are, I think Gundam and I think Macross. Because those are the two major franchises in anime for mecha. So if you're going to talk about the mecha genre, why are you not talking about Gundam and Macross?
Because, Gundam wasn't released in because obviously this person hasn't looked at stuff that wasn't released, and Macross, obviously Robotech.
What even look at Robotech. Why not go? Why if in 1994? Why is your very first title when you mention mecha not Robotech? I know why. It's because this person has no investment in the subculture, doesn't actually know a whole lot, but took some token examples that fit her narrative and twisted, turned, spun them in a way to where we can now arrive at the conclusion that all American anime fans are deathly afraid of becoming girls.
I think we should wrap this segment up because it's.
Yeah, we hope you kind of enjoyed that.
Yeah,
and we're able to see kind of the parallels we were pointing out that kind of
from then
interesting. That's kind of, you might have seen some of these type of talking points before about imperialism or interesting. We'll call them interpretations.
Interesting is the word for it.
Yeah. Interesting in the Japanese sense, in the same way they came up with the idea of may you live in interesting times.
Yeah, exactly. In any case, we're up against the break. Keep it right here on NTR Radio. So I'm gonna have to.
Anubis is mad. Episode 3.
So I'm gonna have to sit one of these people down and have them explain Death of the Author to me, because all it seems to me like is that these people just wanna. Hey, I have an interpretation. It might not be entirely accurate. It might not have anything to do with this show or how it was made or the people who made it or like the people who came up with this world that I'm now vicariously inhabiting through media. But I have an opinion on it, so it's valid.
Well, to be fair, back then I will put a little. To be fair, back then there wasn't a way of contacting these creators, but now we do have.
I'm
Do we have
gonna
mail?
we don't. I'm gonna dispute that on the grounds that maybe not the creators, but people have been tape trading since the 80s, back and forth between Japan. Like, we gave them our Battlestar Galactica tapes, and they gave us our anime. And that's how this market started. So I'm not going to accept the excuse that they had no way of gaining more perspective. Not necessarily contacted the creators specifically, but I can't accept that they didn't have a way of gaining more perspective on this, because this has been since the 80s.
But researching is hard.
I need because it worked last time. I need that vocal riff from the beginning of Stardust Speedway passed to calm myself down, because that just made me mad. I'm so done with these arbitrary rules created by critics for other critics to follow. There's no reason for it. All these stupid narcissistic people creating rules for no reason. There we go.
For a minute, I thought you were going to break out Tobey Gundam. See, that would actually be bad, because I think we'd all try to sing along.
Yeah.
And nobody wants that. I think we should
NTR Radio karaoke.
We should probably still do it at least once. I don't know. That's one of those things maybe I'd be more comfortable with if we did off and then we're able to monitor it before we put it out.
We're able to not to take a look at it and
go,
decide whether it goes out or not.
You know what the most karaoke anime song is?
Fucking Colors has got to be up there.
No.
What is it?
Oh, Cruel Angel Thesis.
Yeah, should have guessed that.
That's not surprising at all.
It's like
that entire opening is just ballin'.
Oh, I heard something interesting earlier today.
So,
when I was talking to my parents, rather, they were talking to one of my other relatives about the election, which I was like, oh no. And, there were, somehow I got involved in this conversation.
Oh,
no. X amount of person. And I just kind of flipped out and was just like, hey, don't include me in here. I'm an independent.
That's not the
Oh, that reminds me, Anubis, since you're a time enforcer and you can bounce around in time.
Yep.
Tell us who wins the election.
Can't.
Why not? I got a bet.
Son, listen. Do you understand what the punishment is for time enforcers who divulge information about the future?
Aww.
Have you ever been in a realm where time doesn't exist?
Does a Starbucks count?
Close. Very close. That was actually the test run for the time enforcer punishment chamber.
Woo.
Why they put a whole bunch of them up, anyone's guess. But that is actually our tech.
I was gonna say, I hate this new. Have any of you seen this new KFC commercial?
No.
Should I describe it?
Yeah, go ahead.
You can if you want.
I know it was meant to be the fifth representative of the 50s, but it just because of the times we live in, it has this girl with the glasses, the ones that point up, the problem glasses.
Problem glasses.
Yeah, I'm just
I like how that's the name. Problem glasses.
The stupid looking ones.
Yes, the really basically I'm triggered. I'm triggered 24/7 glasses. Seriously, I want to know why they wear those.
It's fashion.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with like social just like I want to know what those glasses, those those that were ugly then, that if you wore them they're ugly even then. Like what is it?
Because they're it's a hipster fad, and it's also because of that fad though, and they're kind of interlocked. They're also signals.
Yep.
Mm.
It's like somebody who wears like a band T-shirt.
Yeah. As I said, Drawing Girl says Buddy Holly is rolling in his grave. Yeah, pretty much.
You know, quite frankly, if I wear glasses, just so the audience knows, if I needed a new pair and that's the only kind they had, I would get contacts.
Yeah, same here.
And I'm not kidding about that. I think they look fucking goofy. I think they always have. Put it this way. You look like the people in the 80s who had those glasses as big as somebody's head. That's how stupid you look to people who aren't wearing them.
Look at me. I'm in an 80s movie. Oh, see that guy, he got it.
It's like the gay earring. Yeah. I think that's a decent that's a decent analogy.
I don't get this that Siegfried keeps saying play titties and carrot cake.
It's a song he wants me to play that I'm not going to play.
Oh, titties and carrot cake. All right.
I've never heard the song. I have no context for whatever this joke he keeps making is, but I'm not going to play the song.
Cubated cock.
Did you check out the SNL a while back had Donald Trump as an actual guest? Did you see that? That was actually pretty.
I don't watch TV, remember?
I know, but I thought you still might have seen this on the internet.
No.
Basically,
I'm also like actively avoiding basically anything having to do tangentially with this election.
Right. Well, okay. Well, here's what you need to know. It was making fun of the Hotline Bling song.
Oh,
and he's dancing around. He used to call me on my cell phone, But him dressed up like, it was pretty amusing.
See, here's what doesn't make sense to me. Why are glasses attractive? Because
I like glasses, girls.
But what I'm saying is like, you can make a case for large breasts being attractive, because that's like a hardwired genetic thing,
or a big ass,
large hips being attractive, but like glasses are indicative of a defect. This is I have bad eyes and need apparatus to help me actually see properly.
Yeah, you know what?
Because it signals intelligence.
I've seen plenty of stupid people I've seen plenty of galactic
haven't you ever seen
people with glasses.
Yeah, haven't you ever seen the staff of Kotaku?
Dude, but there's a Wikipedia entry on glasses fetishism that pretty much states that reason.
Oh, interesting.
Well,
Wikipedia just has something for everything.
Yeah, and also it can be edited by anybody, so I wouldn't take it without.
There you go. There you go. Here. Happy birthday. Oh, God, that girl looks gross in the photo.
Good God.
But yeah, ignoring that for a minute. It's interesting that it's like the only accessory of that nature that we associate with any kind of fetish, though.
Yeah, exactly. In pornography, the term refers to a subgenre, also known as sex appeal.
Here's an example of what I mean. Like, if you saw somebody on a crutch, you wouldn't get a hard on.
Yeah, exactly.
No, there are people who are fat. There are some people actually.
But there are some people. But there are some people who get a thing for people fucking a tree trunk. I mean,
yeah, to a certain extent, that's more directly related to an actual like sexual fetish than glass. Like glass is like a mainstream thing.
No one gets off on hearing aids. Yeah, well, yeah, it's because the word AIDS is in there. I mean, that's kind of a boner killer for a lot of people.
I think it's because that's more associated with old age.
Or somebody
That might
getting
be to a certain extent.
or getting dicked in the ear. Which I'm not saying that happens a lot, but I'm sure some people, you know. Now hear this. Can you hear me now?
Okay, you want to move on?
Let's get back. Let's get into this third segment.
All right, because I want to get off in like 10 minutes.
We
10, 15
will try.
All right.
In 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to NTR Radio. So we don't have any real mail. Zeke Freak sent me a mail about the song he keeps wanting me to play. I'm not going to play. So in lieu of actual mail, I went to a convention last weekend, which is why we didn't record last weekend.
Yep. No, this was not a Lovecraftian intervention.
No.
Which happens so often.
Happens so often. It's been happening less and less recently, I noticed, which me saying that means it's going to happen immediately after.
Well, I just assume that because I've been giving double portions to the local Cthulhu tithe.
Ah, there you go. Yeah. Thank you. Anyway, so I went to AAC, another anime convention up in Manchester, New Hampshire. Yes, that is his actual name.
Clever name.
It's a pretty small con. It's probably the smallest like major convention I go to.
Where is that? Where was this?
Manchester, New Hampshire.
Okay.
So about a 2-hour drive up from where I am. And I looked at we arrived on Sunday. No, we arrived on Thursday.
Jesus fucking dude.
We arrived on Thursday, went out to eat, had hibachi, got settled and all that, and basically got settled, slept, got up Friday, and now here's the thing about AAC: it's a small con. It's really more of a social con than when people go to for the dealer room or the panels and whatnot. But being a small con, there from time to time problems will erupt.
Uh-oh.
And realistically, this isn't something that would affect anyone but like me and the other people from Miyashiki who were there. But they had trouble getting us our press badges.
Okay.
So for about half the day on Friday, we didn't have badges. So we couldn't really get into the dealer room, except realistically we could have explained the situation, and they would have let us in because the Geeky Panda was going through the same process, and they let him into the dealer room after he explained the situation. So realistically, that could have happened, but that was just a thing that happened. I don't want to harp on them too much because it was a genuine mix-up and really didn't affect the convention as a whole. But generally speaking, had a good time. I did my Ace Combat panel there. I had submitted my Effed Up Hentai panel there, but they didn't accept it because they had there was a change of management at the hotel that they were at. And they could only run events up till 12 midnight. So they couldn't do 12 midnight, the Effed Up Hentai panel starts, and then 1 o'clock it ends. But I was kind of disappointed because that's the panel I started that's the convention I started that panel at. And right. I thought that hey, cool, the Effed Up Hentai panel's coming back, but they took the Ace Combat panel, didn't take the Effed Up Hentai panel. That's fine. Yeah, all in all, things went mostly well. Did pick up a few things that I'll get into right now, as well as something that I ordered that I'll also get into. So first things first, I got this figure. This is one of those ones where it's got the real fishnet stockings.
Right.
It's a character from Two Heart 2. I forget her. I don't know her name offhand. Blonde hair, blue eyes. If anyone wants the description of the character, I forget her name offhand. But this is basically an impulse buy. I saw the figure and it was like,
hey, 1/6 scale?
It's a 1/5 scale.
1/5 scale. All right.
Yes.
So I got that. I got 2 Gundam models.
Right.
Which ones did you grab?
Well,
Okay.
The Cubile, naturally.
Yeah. Wow. Plus, it's just cool.
Plus it's the fucking Cubile.
Yeah, I really need that robot Tamashi. Like, you know. Oh, I know. I see the other one.
Yeah.
That's a kit I want to get.
The real grade Sinanju. I've started building this thing. Holy crap. All the red pieces, it's got this nice high gloss finish on it.
Mm-hmm.
And all this gold here,
yeah,
those are actual individual like gold plated pieces.
Wow.
As opposed to like stickers.
Exactly. As opposed to just gold stickers, it's just straight up pieces that are just this gloss sheen gold here.
Yep.
Yeah. Vac metal is the technical term.
Yeah. So I got those 2. I picked up Lunar Eternal Blue last AB, and I saw Lunar Silver Star story at AAC, so I decided, you know what, I might as well pick this up.
Yep, it's a good game.
Oh yeah. It's one of the few JRPG series I'm actually invested in.
I remember those. I never played them, but I know of them.
Yeah.
The character designer is Ava.
Yep.
Sakamoto.
Absolutely beautiful game.
Luna actually does have a lot of Misato-esque features.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the face, especially. I always thought so.
All right, so I got those. This figure I got in a couple days ago.
Oh.
The Battleship Congo from Concole.
Yeah.
This is by a Fat Company. So I got that. I'll probably take pictures of this one later.
That's 1/6 scale. Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
And in addition to all this anime stuff, I have one very interesting non-anime thing that I got.
Uh-oh.
Does anyone recording or watching live want to take a guess at what this is?
Oh, I know what that is.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is an unmanned aerial vehicle, a drone.
I saw the video that you uploaded.
I took it to AAC and flew around with it. Like that was like my second or third time actually flying it, but flew around with it and posted this awesome video.
I'm going to have to watch this. I did not see this video.
Oh, I'll link you to it afterwards. It's
now, Novus, you need to have fun with that. Like, you got to print out an anime character's face on it or something, or figure.
I'll do you one better. I created a mascot character for the drone.
What's funny about that is when I was in Barnes and Noble, they actually were selling drones. Like behind the thing where they have the language learning software and stuff like that, like the high end kind of pricey stuff.
Yeah,
they were selling a drone. At first, I was like, "What the fuck? This is Barnes and Noble. Why the fuck?" Like I couldn't wrap my brain around why they were selling it there. Like if it was being sold at like CompUSA or something, I would get it, or even like some kind of Circuit City-esque place, but I just could not understand why they were selling it at a bookstore.
It's like bookstores can't really sell books anymore. Like Books A Million sells books, but they've also got like vinyl records and music.
That
a
is
whole bunch of
true.
electronic gizmos and gadgets. Also drones.
Fucking drones. Well, just in case you really need to you need to like deploy your ordnance and make sure you get that last Dojin.
But yeah, so I got a drone. I'll be having some fun with that. I'm basically going to take it to every convention I go to and post videos from that, because it's the same. When I set it out in the courtyard and lifted it up, and it was flying over everyone, and they were all looking up like it was the coolest possible thing to happen at that moment.
It's like, you know what this reminds me of? It's like the remote control Tonka trucks, but for adults.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, do you realize how horrible kids would be how horrible kids could be if they had these things on hand? Like, it was bad enough when they had like the really clunky fucking airplane things that they threw into the air.
Oh yeah.
And like, if they hit you, they practically take your eye out.
Just watch the episode of South Park called "The Magic Bush."
Well, imagine kids with drones, though. Like,
I mean, I used to have this old RC helicopter, and that thing was.
I remember those.
Just
Holy
really
shit!
Unwieldy.
Yeah, not only that, like that thing was a death trap to anybody that was on a ladder.
Yeah.
Or on a roof.
But it's like RC technology has just come so far. So I remember I actually still think I have it. I used to have this little RC car, and it's like I used to be there was a short-lived point in time where I was part of a club in my high school with like all of the automotive students, all of the auto body students, where we'd get together with these little cars, and it was like Forza Motorsport or like Need for Speed, but with cars. But with these little RC cars, you could switch out the body kit, and like you could get little rims for your RC car. Little neon lights going underneath the RC car.
I got this horrible idea of somebody just like breaking into the shop room, like trying to look for rims. You know, like how like some places are looting, like they like raid Goodyear and things like that, trying to get like rims and shit.
Yeah, so I had my little Nissan Z with the body kit, and was racing it around with this just the unwieldiest of controllers possible.
Yeah.
Because and I get it. It was one of those ones where it's shaped like a gun and has the wheel at the side. And I get it. I get how that's supposed to operate. Didn't really work out for me at all.
So it worked about as well as the Power Glove?
Exactly.
Good idea.
But this Tsubasa is her name. This drone just controls like a dream. Hit the button, it takes off.
You got to give it a name. I mean,
yeah, of course. Leave the controls. It'll just stay there. It'll just hover right where it is, like compensating for wind and whatnot.
By the way, Morning Rice says, I thought of Anubis when I bought my Ayase figure at AWA.
Oh no! Oh, I don't know how
Giving money to the enemy.
I just got this hilarious idea of you, like you can't go into the dealer room, so you launch your drone in there.
Put the drone,
and you mount like a little camera, like a webcam on there to scope out like the shit they got, like and you're sitting there like outside of it, like with a notepad.
I got this little mission control center set up.
Yeah.
Better yet, you get a bigger, more powerful drone that you don't have to leave your home. You just have it go to the con, have some money on it. There, take the money, and then it come home.
One of those like tracked land drones. It's like a miniature tank with a robotic arm on it and a TV monitor.
It looks like the Mars rover or something. Like
no, a hover drone. That could still, but you just it flies over to the convention, and then it comes back with the
It comes back with all the con loot I bought.
Yeah. It's like how Amazon is gonna have those drones implemented, like to deliver right to your house. Like, first off, that's cool as shit if you've actually watched that as a concept. Like, you get it the same day you order it. It's pretty amazing, really.
Isn't that the coolest thing? Isn't
Like-
that like the coolest shit?
I order a box of CDs. It's like going to be there in hours.
Yeah, it's like I order an anime, all like in a couple
I
hours.
can watch it
there's
later
a
that
freaking
night.
drone out my window saying, "Hey,
It just like you know what would be fucked up though
here's
would
a
be
copy
like
of Yusuke no Sora."
well, you know what would be really fucked up though with the drones, and I'm not saying this would ever happen or happen like this because if they were smart it wouldn't, but it would be like high-rise buildings. Like and people were like just sitting there, like a fucking like a pizza delivery, like a little knock on your window and shit. It like just land on your like veranda type thing or something.
So is that it, or
Yeah,
That's
I think
about
that's,
it. And also Tsukioki Magi to the rescue with the name of that character. Sasara Kusagawa is this lady from Two Heart 2.
There you go. So yeah, we kind of let you know what was going on, talked a little bit about the shows we were watching, read this interesting article. Interesting in that same way as in that, you know, thing I said earlier. And apparently talked a little bit about some drones.
Yep.
All in a day's work.
On the day's work for NTR Radio.
you know, maybe one episode I should just read all the thing from the Flux magazine, all the little short reviews.
That almost sounds like that could almost be a good third
A
segment.
recurring segment.
Yeah.
Possibly, but-
Like Tales from Past Fandom or
Yeah,
something like that, or just like
yeah. That's a good if we don't have any mail.
Yeah, exactly.
it'll work. Yeah, so yeah.
All right.
Funk Soul Brothers out.
In any case, that's the show. The email address is ntrradio@gmail.com. The website is shizacontrol.net/podcast. You can check out VZ stuff at vzmk2moe.wordpress.com. You can also check out iyashike.moe. In addition, check out both the Bakagaijin show and Otaku Midnight, because both those shows are very good. Check me out on Twitter at TEAnubis. Check VZ out on Twitter at VZMK2. Check KGods out on Twitter at LazyErica00. And I'm Tom Forster Nubis.
I'm K-Gods.
I am VZ Mark II.
And even though we conflate Legend of the Overfiend with American imperialism every time we say it, this is NTR Radio.